Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Bayou Sugar Garden. I am Bayou Sugar, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome in. If not, welcome back. I am trying to get some stuff together so we can get this show started. Why is it asking me? You know, when you're trying to do something right, it's always going to be some things that try to come in your way to slow you down and stop you from doing something that's right, especially when you're trying to spread information. I find this to be true a lot of times when I get ready to do a couple of my gumbo garden conversations. And this particular gumbo garden conversation slash watch party is important. It's going to be a lot of great information shared. Thank you for the heart, me. I appreciate you. Welcome in, welcome in. So, I wanted to come on early. Good afternoon to you too. I wanted to come on early before I did the watch party because I wanted to share some information. Plus, I wanted to give people time to see that I am live. Good to see you again too. Happy Sunday to you. I wanted to come on early because I wanted to. I am. Hope you are too. I want to give people a chance to see that I'm live because I just do pop ups. I don't schedule regularly stuff. So if you are here, please share out the live. Call a friend, phone a friend, text a friend, message a friend, repost, share so that people would know that we are live. It's some good information that we're going to share out. But I wanted to go live because I wanted to have a conversation before we watch the party. Not watch the party, watch the movie. I wanted to have like a little pre-show, but I couldn't log into some things, and it took me a while to do that. But it's more than one way to skin a cat, and your girl's a little bit tech savvy to where I can manipulate a few things, get some things done. But before we get started, let me just say um, I'm glad that you all are here. Make sure you hit that like button. We are streaming on two platforms for now. Let me say when the movie starts, we will have to shut down the TT side of it. So if you're on the TT side and you want to do the watch party when we get to that part of the show, then you will have to come over to the YT side. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Guys, make sure you share out the live, or just let people know that we are live. They don't want to miss this information. It won't be available for replay on TT, but it will be on YT. Um, so the reason why we will have to shut the TT side down is because I've noticed when I first joined TT, it was more, you had more freedom of speech over there. And then as time go on, I find out that we are no longer owned by the same company, so we don't have the same liberties anymore. Our freedom of speech has been limited a whole lot over here on the TT side. And so things that I'm able to share on YT, I'm not able to share on TT where it a couple of months ago, at least a year ago, there will be things that I couldn't share on YT that I could share on TT. And they were very extreme. Certain words or certain people that you couldn't mention on YT that you could mention on TT. But now those things have changed. Limits have been put on there. And so you have to kind of watch yourself and make sure you're up to date with these rules and guidelines and regulations, especially for those who are putting out information, life changing information, information that people need to know in order to continue to live this life. Oh, thank you so much for sending me that information. I'm definitely going to read it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know who you is. I ain't going to mention you because I don't see you in the chat, but I got your text. Thank you so much. um, it's a lot of things going on. So before I go any further, let me just, show y'all that I do have some manners. Um, and just in case you don't know my YT channel, just in case you are on the TT and you want to come to that side. Oh, who is that over there? Thank you. Thank you for the roses and the populars and the cake. I appreciate you. Okay, my sis. Stay in the bushes. I appreciate your support. Love you. Hope you're having a safe Sunday and stay warm. Over there on the TT, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, show y'all that I have manners. So recognize the people who are in the chat. But also before you don't know my YT page, I'm gonna put it up here on the screen. Thank you. So on a YT, as you can see on the screen now, that is my YT page. We will be having a watch party, watching The C Word. That's the name of the movie. It's a documentary. Um, we can't stream it here on TT because of our limitations of things we can and we can't say. And I'm not trying to get my channel taken down because I have a lot of work to get done. And yeah, I got to get this word out, get this out to the people. And so I won't be able to get it out to the masses if the channel's going. So y'all over there on the TT, if we once we get to the part to where we're doing the watch party, you want to come over and do the watch party with us. My channel there is on the screen, just as it is. You will find me there, um, and you could join us and watch it in the bushes or in the comments and making watch in the bushes or you could jump in the comments however you feel free to do that. That is where we will be. So let me speak to a few people here who are already here live in the chat. Digging in the dirt with Tamiko D. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. One time for you. Let's see who else we got. Who else we got up in here? We got. I am on this computer that is not. I'm not on my regular computer. It's a touch screen, and so the tap pad don't do me justice sometimes. So yeah, I'm not moving as fast as I want to. But welcome in, Life with Tashiria, aka Kruger Mama. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support, sis. We got Uncle Bammit in the house. Welcome in, Bammit with Arthur Butler. Welcome in. Welcome in, Barry, with Storms Radio. I'm used to saying Storms Cats and Radio, but it's Storms Radio. Welcome in, Barry. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your support. One time for Storm. This is my sis, LGGG Love. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Also, the elect lady secretary of the Stronger Together Farm Co-op. Welcome in. If you want to know more about LGGG Love, go ahead and check out on the channel. And if you want to know more about the co-op, you can join the Sugar Mama subscription here at Sugar Shack and attend one of the meetings that we have every other Sunday. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Welcome in, my sis Tigsy. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, my sis. Y'all go over there and check out my sis, very good supporter. Love you, girl. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome in, and welcome in. Elock Nation is in the house. The everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. My girl Nikki is in the building, y'all. One time for Nikki. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, sis, for your support. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, LGG is letting y'all know that we do have a co op meeting today, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to hop on in there and just come in and listen in and see what we got going on, it's some interesting thing. It's a co op. Uh, Created by the people for the people. I know y'all done heard that so much, that slogan so much, but it really is. We are focused on, you know, getting the members who are part of it to be self-sustainable, and we're trying to obtain the resources that you need to be more self-sufficient. So that will be today on my channel. Welcome in, my dog, CC's Texas Garden. Welcome in. That's my dog right there. My dog, CC, has reached another milestone on her channel, got more supporters over there. So, congratulations again to her. She works so hard and she shares so much great information. Make sure you guys are checking her out over there. Let's see. And we got my people over here. Hey, my girl, my girl. My people over here on the TT side. We got over here. I can't highlight y'all with the program that I'm using, but I will say you guys' name so that they will be able to know you. Let's see. She said Bambi. Who is that? Okay, okay. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you. Um, Let me go back to the um YT side. I know Uncle Bammy here goes live today. Uncle Bammy goes live on Sundays. Here is his channel, you guys. Uncle Bammy, if you're still here, let us know what time you'll be going live tonight. Usually, Miss Linda goes live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and he goes live sometimes before or after her. Both of those channels are elders in the community over here on the YT side, and they give out some great information. So if you're one person like me where you're missing those elders to pass down that information to you, come on over here and check out Bamming with Arthur Butler, and make sure you check out the New Orleans Gardener. They pass out some great information, which is in tune with what we will be discussing today. All right, so my people over here on the TT side, we got Captain Nook, the Motorly crew. I think that's how you say it, but I know him as Captain Hook. So welcome in. I appreciate you one time for Captain Hook. Thank you for the likes and the gifts. I appreciate you. And we got also my girl, my girl. I love my girl, Tyler, over there, over here on the TikTok. One time for my girl, Tyler. You guys may have heard me mention her before, and I've posted on my YT page where she does a podcast where she shares her experiences as a mother with special needs children. It is such great information, entertaining and interesting. So, if you guys want to look at that, make sure you go over there and support my girl Tyler over there on the Tickety Talk. and I will repost that today just in case you guys want to find her so you can watch that. So, as far as sharing this information, we will be watching the documentary The C Word. I had no intention on doing that, the watch party. I was just going to do the regular Gumbo Garden conversations and share with you guys the clips that I find. But uh, the avenue went a little bit differently. So everybody over here on the Tik, the YT is speaking to my girl T Tyler over there on the TT. That's a lot of T's. Tyler, TT. It's a lot. So, uh-oh. So Uncle Bearman says, "Hey Tyler." LGG says, "Hey Tyler." Let's see. Welcome in, the analytic gardener. Welcome in. Thank you for being here one time for whom? You're looking here. Here she is. She is a great gardener and shares some great information with her and very entertaining. She's one of the first people that I started watching on YouTube. Go over there and check out my girl, the analytic gardener. And I heard somebody say it's their birthday. Happy birthday to you. Welcome in, everyone. Happy birthday, Captain Hook, and wishes for you to have many, many more blessed ones. Let's see. Penny apples. Okay, so I wasn't planning on having a watch party. I was just going to do a garden conversation and share our clips like we do. So, before we start the watch party, I'm gonna share. You're welcome. Share a couple of these clips, and I hope that it allows me to do it on the TT side. But if y'all, for whatever reason, on the TT side, should get cut off for whatever reason, y'all may want to go ahead and lock in with me here on my YT page on the screen, because there's certain things that you can and cannot say on that on TT. So I'm hoping that this is not one of the things. But before we get started, I do want to encourage you guys to, which is in line with what we're going to be talking about and watching today, to pay attention to your senses. Some people might call it your intuition, uh, women's intuition, your that gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. In this day and time, it is important to make sure you guys are in tune and you're paying attention to it, because at this point, that is what's going to guide you into what is real and what's not real, what you need to know, what you need to prepare for. And I say that because it's a lot of us, we do a lot of prepping and gardening and preparing and doing things like that. But all of those things will mean nothing if you don't know how to use it or you can't use it. And I'm saying that, and I'm going to give you this analogy. If I am a person and I am in an altercation with another person, and I have a pew pew, and the other person has a knife, and I'm pointing my pew pew at this person, and they standing there with a knife. Okay, right? Common sense will tell you that I have the upper hand because I have the pew pew, right? That's just common sense. I don't even have it's common sense. I'm not going to explain to you how it's common sense, but it's common sense. I have the upper hand if I got a pew pew and you got a knife, right? Well, the dynamics change if I have this pew pew and I don't even know how to use it. I don't even know that the safety is on. I don't even know how to pull the trigger. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I don't even know. I just don't know nothing about it. And on top of that, I have a fear that stops me from being able to use it. So just picture me standing in front of somebody, I'm pointing it to them, and they got a knife, and we just going back and forth, in words, and out of fear, because I already know that I don't know how to use it, right? Instead of me pulling the trigger, I drop it and I run, right? Because I know I'm not going to be able to do nothing to this person because I have a weapon that I don't know how to use. And so I said that analogy to say this. A lot of us uh have this knowledge and have these things that we're doing, we're preparing, but when push come to shove, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we don't know how to use, and bottom line, it becomes ineffective. Why are you're doing all of this stuff to protect yourself, but you don't know what to do with it? So what's the use of you doing it if you're not getting the knowledge to know what to do with it in the circumstances? So I said that to say this: you need to pay attention to what your mind is telling you. If it's telling you to go out and get the knowledge, it's telling you to go out and uh, learn about this and pay attention to this. And even if it's not knowledge, just listen to this. Keep your eyes and ears open. You need to pay attention to it because it's telling you these things for a reason. There are some things that your body can sense, right? Before it even happens. Let's grow. Some things that you can sense. You can't put it into words, so you don't may not know exactly what's going on, but you just have this feeling. And if you're not in touch with that feeling, then having your preparing for something to happen or having the preps and everything not gonna is not gonna do you any good. Thank you for the gifts over there. Thank you for the popular. So it's very important that you guys pay attention to what's going on around you, with the weather, with the food, with the school system, with the government, with everything, because it's not in your favor. These things are going on is not happening to enhance your life, and it's not happening to help you be better, right? It's happening so that somebody else can gain from it. And so you have to pay attention. You have to do those things to protect your spiritual or your mind, your heart, so that you'll be able to have a connection to be able to see without your natural eye, if you know what I'm saying. So you can protect yourself in that way. Because if not, then some of us will be in trouble. I've done a lot of gumbo garden conversations, and some of the information for some of us may have been hard to swallow, but I hope that it has triggered your inner spirit to start seeing more spiritually, because there's things that is going on. If you don't realize it now, we are and have been for a long time at WAR. Okay. And nobody, which you've heard this so many times, nobody is coming to save you. It's going to be all up to you. Storm says, I do this every time I go into town. The world is unhinged right now. Anything can pop off at a drop of a hat. That is so true. And you got to be prepared. I want you guys to pay attention and listen to this saying, which I've said a lot of times before, which is believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. Okay? Somebody just talking, we already know if somebody just saying something. Most of us already know not to pay attention to hearsay. He say, she say. Words is nothing. But now it's come to the point to where some of the stuff you see ain't even true. Right? So that brings me to my first point of the first video. that I want to share with you guys that I found about this. Well, we all have been going through with this weather. Yeah, excuse my son doing all that hiding. I don't know what's wrong with him. So let me see. Let me find this post. And it's about the weather. And when I saw this, there's going to be a lot of technical terms and things going that they're going to say about the weather. But my common sense kind of kicked in when I watched this video, right? I was like, you know what? That is true. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Give me 1 second, y'all. Trying to find the video. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me make sure the volume is up on it. And we share my screen with y'all so y'all can see. Some people going, it might be a rabbit hole thing, but um, it is some truth to this. Just put your eyes and ears on, right? And just pay attention and just think about it. Even if you can't understand the scientific terms and things, just look at the map and just think about it with your natural mind, the way that things have always worked, okay? The way that you know things are supposed to work as a human being. All right. So let's just see this. He say, don't get me started. I've been uh, a sky warm storm spotter for 9 years, and this weather has thrown me for a loop. Side note, my driveway is an ice skating rink, and I'm going to, to charge a $10. Listen, look, we all could have an ice skating rink part in our yard. Shoot, my driveway and my yard is the ice skating rink. Oh my God. Okay, guys, so here we go. Fingers crossed that y'all on TT would, be able to see this. I hope things go well. Okay, let's go.
A temperature gradient like that with any natural hydrological cycle that is engineered top to bottom.
So you're telling me this map right here, so explain to me what I'm looking at and how this show proves that this is an engineered weather pattern that's happening right now, this huge snowstorm that's cutting across the United States and this cold snap. You're telling me that this map, so tell me what this map shows us.
If you went back 20 years, you would never, 20 years or further, you would never find anything that even remotely resembled that map. Weather moves in the northern hemisphere from west to east because of the Coriolis effect of the planet, because of the spin.
Right.
So how can it be record warm in the west and record cold in the east? That's patently wrong. So they high pressure dome with frequency transmission facilities, which are weapons of mass destruction like HARP in Alaska. They can superheat the ionosphere, creates a massive expanding bulge in the atmosphere up and down. That creates a high pressure dome in the northern hemisphere, which spins the upper level wind currents clockwise. So picture that red spot of above normal or record high temperatures as being a high pressure dome that rotates clockwise, rotating all the moisture from the Pacific around it, or low pressure zone below it, rotating below it. So they're spinning the moisture around the west, chemically nucleating it. And those are patented processes, by the way. These are endothermic reacting materials. Chinese government openly announced they're doing exactly this on a massive scale. All mainstream media covered it. If you bring it up here, they marginalize you. So they're seeding this cloud moisture with climate engineering aircraft, not the single engine propeller driven kind, but the kind that dump 100 tons in a single payload. And those endothermic reacting elements, in many cases, because this moisture is now so warm, it's reaching the surface, Jimmy, before it sets up. And that's why you're about to have massive ice storms, hugely destructive ice storms, because these materials aren't setting up until they reach the surface. And again, that's not natural either, to have an ice storm transition zone between the record warm migrating moisture and the eventual various forms of frozen chemically nucleated.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna pause that right there. Just from this video, and I'm not gonna get into the scientific and scientific grammatics of it all, but what stood out to me on that video was, let me see if I can, is there a way that I can fast forward on here? No. Excuse me. What stood out to me was he showed that the pattern. I'm gonna mute it and see if I can do it. Showed the pattern of how the weather, it was hot on the west coast, and then everything on in the Midwest and all the way to the East Coast was cold, record breaking temperatures. And what he was basically saying is the way that weather moves is from west to east. So from, let's just use our states as, points of reference. It moves from California to Maryland, right? West Coast to East Coast, right? If weather moves like that, then how is it that this ice storm did the pattern that it did, where it was record breaking warm temperatures on one side, or only just on the West Coast, and everybody else was having like these ice storms? So I paused it so you can see. Let me make that big so you guys can see the map that he brought up on there. Okay. If you go back and do some research and look at how we have been taught that weather moves and how it sets up, it's always been west to east. um, but this particular storm did not. This has never happened in the history of the world. May I say that? And it has happened where it's moving against all of what we have been taught, and not only what you have been taught, but what you have seen and experienced throughout your life. So whether you want to argue, okay, we're not going to believe what we heard, what we were taught, but your experiences as you have been living lead you to believe or see or draw a conclusion that this weather pattern that we all just went through was not normal. Okay. And that's the thing, the takeaway that I want y'all to get from this. This was not normal. This was not nature made. Period. Point blank. It was not. And that's what I want y'all to see. When that's what I mean when I say we are at WAR and people are doing things like this for their own gain. So what is their end game for this? Is what we should be asking. What are they doing? Why are they testing these things, and why is it being set up, and why are we the testing ground for this? That's the kind of questions that we should be asking. And that should be setting you off down the rabbit hole. Okay? It should. And I noticed this. I am a person that is very much in touch with my feelings, meaning like I feel things outside of me. I can sense emotions that are not mine. I can sense when things are off. And this weather pattern it just was off. It had me off emotionally. And I'm like, dang, I've lived all my life dealing with, emotional things or whatever, but this weather pattern was not natural. And so it had me off balance. And once I start getting back to my normal self, this is what I start to understand, that my body was sensing that something was not right. Something was not natural. And it was trying to tell me, hey, pay attention, slow down and pay attention. And so that's what we need to do when your body is trying to tell you to slow down and pay attention. Pay attention. Don't just throw things to the side and say, oh, well, this conspiracy theory or whatever. Pay attention because things are happening. Things are happening. It's happening. And we need to be aware so that we can protect ourselves, right? Because at some point, you're going to have to be able to know what to do. Sometimes these storms are going to come and you're not going to be able to hunker down in place. You need to know where you're going to go, what you're going to do. And if you have to hunker down in place, make sure that you have the things that you need and know how to use them. So pay attention because, yeah, it's going to get worse, okay? And we just need to be prepared. Barry says, yes, computer models aren't tracking with current weather for this time of year. Yeah, not have been in a deep freeze. Should not have been in a deep freeze until February. All started in January. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, and that's because it's not being created by nature itself. Okay, y'all need to know that. You need to know that. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me stop sharing my screen. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys that could be another rabbit hole thing, but and then I'll show you a video that goes on to the topic with what we're talking about. Okay, so let me just preface this video. Yes, this is going to be with a person about, you're going to see a person on the screen that most consider a loony bin. Some may say he needs to wear a tinfoil hat, but don't pay attention to the person. Pay attention to what he's saying. He's sharing with you his experience that he has had in his lifetime. Okay? And some things he say is just like, yeah, no. But this particular thing that he's saying, it goes in line with what I'm telling you guys to pay attention with not with your natural eye, but pay attention to the energy, what your energy is bringing to you, your spirit. Make sure you're paying attention to that. I think it says pay close attention. Let's see. LGG say it's all about money and controlling the citizens by scaring us into submission, starving them if they have to. Yep, you are so on point. Collateral damage based on ignorance. Definitely. Yes, Nikki say definitely out of control. Yeah, the wrong kind. So this is just something to put on your mind, okay?
Now he's known as Will Smith. Ain't that some shit? I got to see Sacrifice as a kid. Will used to put me on his lap when I was driving his car as a kid. Like I didn't know he was Will Smith, but to see somebody without his face, the blessing of God, bro. Watch The Switch, okay? I mean, you know The Switch, right? Okay, so it's a new movie called The Switch. I need you to watch that, right? Check that out. He says he can switch people out. And he does it right in front of them. And he says, like, yo, bro, like, I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife inside of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife.
This is the thing. They wanted me to tell about cloning. They wanted me to tell about Vril and the hosts, the parasited hosts. Now the thing is, they did not want me to tell about the chipheads, because they want to continue their fake immortality, flawed existence.
This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life.
Now that is between us, okay?
But you were...
In a coma? Nothing like having your face cut off to disturb your sleep. Read the newspaper lately?
You killed them?
Well, look, beats paying the bill, huh? I torched all the evidence that proves you're you. Okay, so wow, looks like you're gonna be in here for the next 100 years.
We have to be careful with who we want. You'll be in the car with Paul, man, but you're really in the car with Peter. But that's Paul's body. But why is Peter in Paul's body? You know, I've been going through this for a while in order to figure out and identify every soul inside of every vessel, to where we can all identify it, and it's not just me that can do it.
But I told
Why did they want you to tell about the other stuff, though?
Okay, all the celebrities, they don't want to attend anymore. And all of the ground level people that go there for rowdy, crazy, disgusting fun, they don't want to go there anymore. The novelty is worn off.
Basically, business, they're trying to shut the business down because it's not as functional anymore, right?
Yes, and they don't know what to do about all the hosts in the world. There is a lot of hosts.
He sacrificed himself. Now he's known as Will Smith. Ain't that some shit?
Okay, y'all. So that movie, this is just going in line with what I was saying about pay attention. Like some of this stuff, we write it off as rabbit hole stuff. But if you go back and think about over the past few years, if you look at some people, we're not going to talk about everyday people, but let's talk about some people that are in the public eye that we know of. And you have seen these people for years. They look one way, they act, there's you get used to their character and their demeanor, how they act. That's how you know how this person is. And then fast forward years later, it's a totally different person. You look at them and they look different. You look at them and you say something different about. He looked different. He lost weight and he looked younger. He aging backwards. Or he wouldn't have said that's not the same person that I grew up with, And I'm not just talking about this specific person that he mentioned in the video. But if you think about several people in the public light, they just something different about them. And they don't look like themselves. So if your spidey senses, for lack of a better word, if your energy or your spirit was telling you before, something ain't right, that person don't look different, that's not the same person, hey, you better listen. You better pay attention. And the movie that they referenced was Face Off. If you haven't seen that movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it was basically talking about the same thing that he was saying. Like you looking at that person, but it's not that person. You're looking at that vessel, but what's inside that vessel is not that person. They're presenting to you one thing, but it's something else. Okay? Pay attention. It's been going on for years. And the reason that people do that, say for instance, if I want to get you to do something, or if I want to get a mass of people to do something and believe something, then I would use a person that the people trust, right? If I want to get all y'all to do rugs and believe that rugs are good for you, and I'm saying rugs because we can't say that word on either platform. I would use somebody who we all would trust. Let's just say we all trust MLK. All right. And by this being Black History Month, this would be the perfect time to use him to push that agenda. Everybody trusts him because he has a track record of doing good, having the people's heart in the forefront. That's what he cares about, no matter what it costs himself. Then he would be a perfect person that I could use that vessel, right? Take out what he is, take him out, and put something in that will relay the message that I want to get y'all to believe that rugs are good. And then you, as a regular person of general population, you're looking at this outer appearance and you're hearing those words come out of his mouth. Your mind and body is telling you, yes, something ain't right. But I'm looking at this person and I'm like, but he got a track record of being against stuff like this, but now he's telling me that it's good. And then it puts you at a war with yourself, like trying to believe what's true and what's not true, trying to filter out this information. So that's where you have to get to a point to where you can trust what your senses are telling you. Okay? Believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. Again, I say to you. Okay, you got to be able to get yourself into a position to where you are aligned to where you can see through the BS. All right? That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. I shared a video on the FYP. A way to stay young forever. The rich are crazy to stay alive. Right. Who would want to be in here forever? Why? Blowing my mind that you cut up with this information. Wow. Yeah. Listen. It's a message that needs to it's a message that needs to be said. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's time for people to know because like y'all said, ignorance, because of your ignorance, you're gonna become collateral damage if you don't know. And not just ignorance, but because you don't want to believe. Some of us have been programmed to the point to where they have forced you into not wanting to see. You're closing your eyes on purpose. You don't want to see that. You just want to live your life. You just want it. I don't want to hear none of that. I just want to stay in my little bubble. I don't care about none of that. But you don't realize that it's affecting you. If you don't open your eyes, you won't see how you can't stay in your bubble because they're affecting what's inside of your little bubble. From the smallest things, from what you're eating to how you're living to what you're breathing to what you can or cannot do in your personal life. Right? There's no way that you can stay in your little bubble. If you think you're in your own little bubble, then you don't realize how they are affecting you. There's no such thing as your own little bubble. None. What you got to do now is learn how to live within their environment. Learn how to protect yourself amongst all of these things that are coming against you. You got to. Right. So Captain Hook says many people are saying that you can't even melt, burn, or pack the snowballs that this new man made snow. Listen, go out and try it for yourself. Right? Believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. So when people are telling you something, we all got snow on the ground, probably still got it out there now. Go see. Go see. You ain't got to believe the videos that the people are go see. Same snow that came here Friday here where I am. It's been a week and 2 days. It's the same snow that's on the ground right now, which The temperatures have been up high enough to where it could be melted. But what happens is under that snow is a sheet of ice. It's like we sitting in a refrigerator, a freezer. Under that snow is a sheet of ice, and then on top of that snow is more snow or ice, and it's just sitting there. Even when people are driving across it, it's not melting from the heat of the vehicle. I'm just saying. Like that's just natural, your natural, even if you're not going outside trying to burn it or whatever, that's just natural. My vehicle, I'm just telling you my own personal experience. My vehicle, I was at work when it started. It was sleeting, right? My vehicle was parked on concrete. And from 2 p.m. Friday night until 7 a.m. Saturday morning, my vehicle was outside on a concrete parking lot, right? When I went outside to try to drive home, I had ice. You know how the boots look when they put a boot on your car? When the police or the whoever, the patrol people, parking lot people put a boot on your car to keep it from move? That's how the ice was around my tires. Okay? Then around that ice, so that's an ice, well, the ice boot, I'm going to say an ice boot on my tires, locking my tires in place to the cement. And then on top of that ice was like I guess what you would say, snow on top of that, right? Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, usually when I turn my car on a normal day, the heat from the car, there's a lot of heat from the engine, and then you got heat up under the bottom of the car, then heat coming out that tailpipe. Usually, when you let it sit there for a while, it melts. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let the car warm up. I'm going back in the building. I ain't finna sit out here in the cold because my car was cold. Let the car warm up. I came back out 30, 45 minutes later. My what no puddle. No puddle nowhere. Nothing. It was in the same condition that I left it in. You know what I had to do? I had to get something metal to break that ice off of my tires. I had to get something to actually move that ice from out of the pathway so that I could back up. The heat from that car was not doing nothing to that. Nothing. It was not melting. It was not melting. They salted the roads here. And normally that, at least turns it into slush because, snow is soft. And when you get the slush and stuff out of your freezer, if you put salt on, it's going to melt. No, they put the salt down there and the trucks had to come and actually move it out the way. But even though they moved the top layer, which was fluff, out of the way, you still had that layer sheet of ice on the highway. So I'm just saying, believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. Go out there and try it for yourself or think about it. You have already tried it and haven't really realized it. So when I saw these videos and people saying, oh my God, the snow is not melting or whatever, and I didn't have to go out there and try to burn it, I thought about when I was applying heat unintentionally with my vehicle and it wasn't melting. I'm like, yeah, they ain't lying. I'm just, we just got to use, that's just the example of, and I'm not going to call it common sense, but use what your life experience have been to let you know what is real and what is not real.
That's amazing.
Right? That's what we got to do, because if not, then we are sheep led to the slaughter. We just following suit from what somebody is telling us. Right? We're just doing what they want us to do, is allow them to control us. Let's see. Welcome in, J3GS Forums. One time for checks. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Listen, do your own research, people. Don't take my word for it. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. So let me catch some of these comments that I missed. Um, let's see. So I was saying about the control, and then LGG says some of us definitely, some of us can't handle the truth. Well, you better get ready. Get off that milk and start eating you some meat. Learn how to exist in this. You said it. You said it. We better learn. Learn how. Let's see. If you don't, you're gonna be collateral damage. Welcome in, Shantae. G my life one time for Shantae. She says, "Amen." Yes, we are complacent, and they have done things to make us more docile and more complacent. Um, they have done things, and that's too why you have to pay attention to some of you who didn't get the jab. There has been sayings that was a way to get you to become more complacent, where they can control you on a cellular level to make you do what they want you to do, to make you think the way they want you to think. And that is possible. You can gain control of somebody by injecting things into them. And it gets into your blood, and it causes you to react or think the way somebody wants you to think. Okay? So pay attention, people, and be in touch with your energy. Okay? Be in touch with whatever. Yes, yeah. He said nanobot tech. Yes, Captain. Y'all better do some research. I'm not gonna share everything. I'm just dropping tidbits for you to go back and do your own research. Captain Hook said nanobot research. You better go back and look at it, okay? Look at it. Um, you gotta know. You gotta know. And I have to let you know because it's my duty. And I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do because I'm not gonna be in trouble for none of y'all. Okay, I love you, but I'm not gonna get whooped for none of y'all. No, ma'am. No, sir. Okay, so the next video, let me stop sharing my screen, that I want to share with you guys. Um, it's two videos that I wanted to share with you guys that goes along with the movie that we're gonna watch. Okay. Um, okay, let me share my screen with y'all now. Make sure when I press it, it starts over. Yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen. And if any of you have ever traveled outside of the country, this information, I mean, people in other countries already know, right? Just it's just crazy that we're supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but happen to be the DUMBEST, right? Like that just don't make sense. That's just not logical sense. Okay.
It's banned in other countries. I know one of them right off the bat. What is it? Skittles. Skittles are banned in other countries. That's not on my list, though. That's a candy, not a food. What's a good pasta? Corn dogs! No, corn dogs are fine. I'm going to give you hints because this is tough. First one is a brand. It's very cheesy.
Kraft mac and cheese.
Kraft mac and cheese is banned in other countries. It contains artificial yellow dye 6, which is banned in parts of Europe. Next one's a circle.
Raviolis. Ritz crackers.
Ritz crackers is banned in other countries. Same reason. It contains artificial yellow dye 6.
Those are actually bad for you, though.
One goes in your coffee.
Creamer.
Yes, Coffee Mate Creamer. It has hydrogenated soybean oil and cottonseed oil.
Sounds like it's really bad for you.
It's linked to heart disease. What's something that comes off the tree?
Pineapples.
Hit Newton in the head.
Coconuts.
American apples.
American apples.
They're coated in something called DPA, and it can lead to causes of cancer. What's the greatest invention in food?
Sliced bread.
American bread includes a dough conditioner that's also used in yoga mats.
What are we talking about?
It's banned in 30 plus countries. What's a cereal based off apples?
Oh, Apple Jacks.
That's a great guess. That's not what I meant.
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops has too many artificial dyes. Apparently, it's built like candy. The next two are meat. One's in the ocean.
Salmon.
American salmon.
What?
In America, it's farmed, not wild salmon.
Oh, I watched the whole documentary on this.
They add synthetic coloring to the fish feed. And eat the last one, pretty similar.
Shrimp. Pork.
American pork is banned in other countries. They use a drug to boost growth and lean out the meat. It's banned in 160 plus countries.
Pork is really bad for you.
And us Americans still eat it. I will not eat pork in America. Can you name the 8 American foods banned in other countries?
I know one of them right off the bat.
What is it?
Skittles.
Skittles are banned in other countries. That's not on my list, though. That's a candy.
Okay, that's just a few. Just to name a few things that, a few of the foods. But even though these things are banned, the crazy part is it's not that we don't have the food that's nutritional. We grow the food that that is good for us, but it's not here. It doesn't stay here for the American people. We use it to send to other countries, whether we're bartering or we're making money off of it. It's grown here for a business, but then shipped out. So we have the foods here that we are supposed to be eating, but they're not being given to us. That's crazy. You say, I knew about the yoga mat material in the bread, found that out last year, which is crazy. So this is just to reinforce to you guys that you need to grow your own food. Grow your own food, okay? Excuse me. Okay, let's see. One more video about food.
A sticky goo, which is scraped off the tree and washed in a giant pot. Next, it's laid out on the ground to dry before getting stuffed into a long sock over a hot furnace. And as it rotates, the dried goo melts, dripping onto the tray below. It's then sprayed into an even layer and stretched by a worker using their hands and feet until it's nearly transparent. Finally, it's cut into small pieces, shipped to factories around the world, and mixed into candy to make it shiny. So when you bite into a jelly bean, you're basically eating bug goop. The bug shoots out a sticky goo, which is scraped off the tree and washed in a giant pot. Next, it's laid out on the ground to dry before getting stuffed into a long sock over a hot furnace. And as it rotates, the dried goo melts, dripping onto the tray below. It's then sprayed into an even layer and stretched by a worker using their hands and feet until it's nearly transparent. Finally, it's cut into small pieces, shipped to factories around the world, and mixed into candy to make it shiny. So when you bite into a jelly bean, you're basically eating bug goop. The bug shoots out a sticky goo, which is scraped off the tree.
Okay, so many of you have known about this. Storm says, yes, that is why bread does not mold. Okay. And Mike says that's been forever. It's called shellac. Uh-oh. Let me just say welcome in Mike's Chaotic Garden. Welcome in. So, and I don't want to. Some of these ingredients that they use, uh, are not are not conducive to your health. It's not meant for human consumption, but some of them are. So I don't want you guys to be deterred. I don't want to deter you away from certain things, because some things are gross, but it can be used for human consumption and it is conducive to your health. Well, I showed this video because the purpose of them using that is just so it could be shiny, right? They're, at the same time, thank you, they're trying to do it to get you to buy more. If they're not doing it because it's conducive to your health, it is not um adding to you. You don't It doesn't need to be done. It's only being done for purposes of making it appealing to you. That's why. Okay. So give me 1 second, y'all. If you think about the like with the Bayer, not the Bayer, the Advil, um the reason why that they put that sugar coating on Advil is just for the taste. I mean, if I'm taking a medication, yes, you know, some of the medicine's going to taste bad, but it's something that you have to give up in order to get what you need. And if all I have to do is deal with something tasting bad to get rid of a pain, the bad taste only lasts for a few seconds, right? I it should be We should be able to deal with that bad taste for a few seconds or for a few minutes in order to relieve the pain that we have been dealing with long term, right? But we are an instant gratification group of people, are human beings. We don't want to go through nothing. We don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to do nothing. So they add the sugar to satisfy you in the moment, right? But what you don't know is that sugar coating is coated with a sugar that is also gonna cause you more long term damage. We don't think about that though. We just think about the right now, the effects that is I don't want to be uncomfortable right now. Okay. Even though if I take these and I gotta take these every once in a while in my life, it's gonna cause me diabetes. I don't care. At least I won't be in pain. Uh I'ma do it. So that's why I showed y'all that video because we kind of like with instant gratification and we take things that we don't have to. We do They add ingredients that you don't need to have. They add this stuff to the bread. I mean, you shouldn't be eating bread every day, right? That's not something that you should be eating every day. So they're adding that to it to preserve it. Everything there is a time and a season, all right? So at some point we don't need to be saving this bread so we can have it all throughout the year, right? It's just not meant for you to have it all the time. You're not meant to have access to everything all the time. That's just not how things are made. Everything needs a break. Everything. Okay, so Captain Hook says, and that's the last video. We're gonna get into the movie. Captain Hook says, at the same time, Congress has allowed for the sale of artificial meat at local brand groceries. Yes, they should have. I mean, you got 3D meat printing, you got all this, but the effects of that is what we should be concerned about, right? How is that going to affect my body? What nutrients am I gaining from this meat, like this manufacturer? Is it conducive or is it harmful to my body? Mike says, why not vegan? And don't, she said, I don't like jelly beans, never did, but I get it. Yep, yep. Mike said, also the red dye and the food coloring. Yep. Look, I got a video on that, and it goes in line with the movie. Look, we gonna see all that. We're gonna talk about all that. See y'all on the same page. And the lady say, "I always hated jelly beans." I did, but then you know what? They rebranded them jelly beans. What's the name brand? Oh, I forgot the name brand. Is it Jelly Bellies? I forgot the name brand. I hated beans when I was little, but then they kept coming up with different brands, and I think Jelly Bellies is the brand that got me hooked, right? Because they came out with the different flavors. You got popcorn flavored jelly bean, you got chocolate, you got jelly bean tastes like marshmallows, you got all of that, right? So I started eating jelly beans because it's different flavors. I didn't like the regular flavors, but you got one that could taste like green apple, got one taste like watermelon, got one taste. So I started that. Then is it Starburst came out with the fave reds because I got picky and upper echelon. I only wanted the red ones. I only liked how the red ones taste. So now they got a bag where you can just buy all the red ones if you want all the red. Yeah, so yeah, they got me on that, but I haven't had any. I haven't had any. Sugar isn't vegan, uses bones to whiten. Let's see. Before Ready number 5 came in, it was bug shells. Yeah, I remember that. I remember them saying that, when I was younger. I didn't pay no attention to it. And they may be better than, using bug shells may be better than using a red dye because the red dye is manufactured, but depending on what they did to the bug shells. But that's where I go to say neither one of them are needed. They're just adding it for to increase sales, right? It's not adding no nutritional value to the product. It's not conducive to your health. It's just something added for the purposes of increasing sales to attract you to buy it, right? Shantae say this is why our bodies reject certain foods. It definitely is because there's ingredients in there that it doesn't need. It doesn't need. Know what's going on in our body. Open your eyes. Yep. She said I had vegan yesterday. It was amazing. Welcome in backyard garden container gardener. Welcome in. Thank you for being here one time for you. Yes, it's more profitable for big companies and the government to produce medicines to control an illness rather than cure it. You are absolutely right. A lot of vegan and keto foods use chemicals. Yep, if it tastes good, probably isn't good for you. Don't trust anything. Make it yourself. For Easter, they have sweet tart. Yep, I tried them too. Very sweet. They got all kind of jellies. Nah, you can't say what you don't. I hate the purple ones. I hate they jelly bean. It's a whole bunch of different. Listen. These people can make whatever you want. Okay, whatever you want. So let me get this video loaded. Okay, so people, hear me, people. My people over on the TikTok. This is where our live will end. I will still be live on YT. However, I just can't show this movie on TT. Okay, so you guys will have to come on over if you want to watch the video. the movie with us and enjoy the watch party. I'll put my channel page up on the screen, and that's where you can come to connect so we can watch the movie. And it's going to be along the lines. The name of the movie is The C Word, and that's what we're going to watch. I have it loading now. So hopefully I will see you guys over on the other side. Captain Hook says none of that is good anyway. Right. All that stuff that they're adding is not good anyway. So I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes before I start the video, give you guys over there on the TT side time to come over if you want to enjoy the watch party with us. But I appreciate all of you on TT side for coming in and viewing with me. Thank you for your conversations, your inputs, everything that you had to say. And let me just encourage you guys to keep your eyes open and again, believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. Okay. If your outside senses is telling you something ain't right, it ain't. Something ain't right. Okay. Peace, love, and blessings to all of you over there on the TT. I will see y'all later. All right. So, YouTube family. All right. Hey, Mama Shirley, welcome in. Thank you for being here. One time for Mama Shirley. Welcome in. You came in just in time. We're getting ready to start the movie. I was trying to find this movie on Netflix, but apparently it is not available in the US on Netflix. So I found it on YouTube. And that's where we're going to watch it. So give me about 5 minutes, guys, to load it up. You guys get your popcorn and everything together. And we are going to watch this movie together. All right, Mike. See you later. Be careful. He says he got to go shovel some snow. Mama should have said, I've been listening in the bushes. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening in the bushes. Okay, let me play y'all some music while we get the video movie together.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. chilling in the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? We're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, I think it's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and get started watching the video. Again, happy Sunday. Thank y'all for coming in. And hope you guys enjoy the video.
So we're rolling. David, the first thing I want to ask you to do is just introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is David Sarvanschreiber, MD and PhD.
And why is this so important to you?
For several years now, I've seen my mission as having to convince the legal establishment about opening its mind.
Was it worthwhile?
My mind absolutely yes. But you have to be open-minded about that.
We don't even like the word cancer. We always whisper like, cancer. But we say we're afraid of cancer. We don't really behave like we are. We know what smoking causes cancer. Yeah, I only smoke when I'm drinking. Which is constant, really.
This cell is cancerous. It is dividing at far too rapid a rate. We are presently in somewhat of an epidemic of cancer.
Wake up, wake up, wake up! Huh? What? You have cancer. What?
It's the one word you never want to hear.
The number of cancer deaths across America. Got cancer.
The one word that can shake you to your very core.
What chance do I really have, doctor? Cancer is a death sentence.
Now, the way we fight this disease is to cut it out, burn its path, and poison our bodies into oblivion.
This is atomic energy as God intended it to be used.
New approaches to treatment are being developed every day, and many of them are improvements.
We've made real progress. This claimed to cure cancer with tape-recorded music.
Over time, we have built an entire industry dedicated to fighting and curing this disease.
Reported the results of a new procedure called
Billions of dollars are raised year after year to fight the war on cancer.
This campaign is to place your contribution in an envelope and mail it to cancer.
But what if we could stop and clearly see we're making a valiant effort, but let's be honest, we're not winning this war. Maybe they'll find a cure for cancer before you or I hear the C word. And maybe they won't. But what if there's more to the story?
Ready, guys?
Yeah.
You ready? Happy birthday to you.
Before I heard the C word, my life was pretty wonderful. Not perfect, but I had what I needed. 2 great kids, a big, loving family, and I just produced a film that I felt made a difference in the world.
Sicko. Thank you so much.
From the outside, it looked pretty great. But what no one saw was what was happening on the inside. And just 3 months after the best night of my life, I got the worst news possible. Now, I'm just one of the millions of people who get diagnosed with cancer every year.
Are you ready for kindergarten?
And like most people, I had no idea how I got there. But when it happened, my only ambition was to survive.
This is the robin bird I made.
Say it again.
Cancer can make even the sweetest among us a little testy.
The flower I made for my mom because she actually got out of the hospital for once.
You're right.
Now you have more paintings, I'll go get them.
Okay.
See you later.
But there are also incredible gifts that come along with all that pain.
I'm Dr. David Servan-Schreiber. 16 years ago, I was diagnosed with brain cancer. With my type of cancer,
I learned about another patient who was fighting back against the disease in a way that was unlike anything I'd ever heard.
What if you could prevent most types of cancer by the way you live and the way you eat? You underwent conventional treatment, chemotherapy.
well, I realized they were doing everything they could to kill cancer cells, but they weren't doing anything to help my body resist cancer itself.
The goal for all of us is to develop a science-based anti-cancer diet, is that right?
Science-based anti-cancer body, I would say. It's
Okay.
not just about diet.
When I was on my knees, David gave me hope.
So I said, well, I'm going to find him. I'm going to meet him. I'm going to convince him to let me make a movie on him.
Joining forces with David led me to a whole team of players. And together, we would kick cancer's ass, like it tried to kick mine.
How often do you have a chance in life to hold in your hand something that is immensely powerful and useful that nobody else seems to know about, you know? It's a blast.
The uphill battle began in Detroit, where he's taping his lecture for a national audience on PBS.
You know how cancer rates are going up and up and up and up.
David's been given the chance to get his message out to those who need it the most. The ones who think they'll never get sick.
Take another step that way, just a little bit. There we go.
But here, in this TV studio, he couldn't be more out of his element.
Together, we have this incredible opportunity to help spread a message of hope that it is in our power.
An hour and a half of live television is a new and risky challenge, but it pales in comparison to how David would feel if he kept silent.
What I'm about to unfold for you here today is a story. It is both a scientific story about how cancer can be weakened, but it is also, in my case, a very personal story. I was a young, very ambitious, rather arrogant, university-based physician and neuroscientist with my best friend, Jonathan.
David and I, we actually became good friends and started doing this research. And it always had to be done like at 9 o'clock at night when the clinical facilities were closed. And so we would go in there at night and you know, experiment.
One evening, one of the subjects didn't show up. We didn't want to waste the precious scanner time, so we decided that I would go into the scanner.
And as the images came up, I saw an anomaly, and it was pretty obvious that there was something wrong.
Jonathan put his hand on mine and he said, David, there's something in your brain. And that's how I learned that I had brain cancer. Of course, I got conventional treatment, and that saved my life. But when the chemo stops, this is when the doctors say, go back to your life as it was. You know, let us worry about the cancer. Don't even think about it. And if this comes back, we'll catch it early next time. I wish I would have done something then, because a few years later, as often happens with these kinds of tumors, I relapsed. And that was much harder. It was more aggressive than we had originally imagined it would be. And my whole life was falling apart. My body, my life force was betraying me just when I really needed strength. And so I was slowly drifting into hopelessness. Because nobody ever told me there was anything I could do to help myself. Took me a little while, you know, to bounce back. But eventually I did. So this is when I hit the books and learned as much as I could from what is in the medical literature about how I could help my body resist cancer much better than it had until now.
In an effort to save his own life, David scoured medical journals and discovered results largely overlooked by a medical establishment focused on survival and a cure, instead of stopping cancer before it strikes. Hidden in that massive research was critical information. We all have cancer cells inside us, right now, every one of us. These are abnormal cells, and our bodies are designed to fight and destroy them. We have...
Listen, I paused that so that you all can remember that we all have cancer. We all got cancer cells inside of our bodies right now. Right now. Every living person has them. Okay? Remember that. I remember when I was in nursing school and one of my teachers told me that, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, I got cancer. We have those cells inside of our bodies right now. But listen to how he explained
have the power to determine whether we feed or starve the cancer cells already inside us. We can help our bodies in this fight in 4 deceptively simple ways: through nutrition, exercise, stress management, and avoiding toxins. Combining these 4 powerful tools, the anti-cancer method was born. David uncovered the information we need to face the war on cancer in an entirely new way.
Pause. The 4 things is right there on your screen. Exercise, diet, bingo, number 1, reduce your toxins, and your stress management. Okay, y'all taking notes just in case you need to know that. Okay, if we was to put those in order, let me know what do you think the order would be. If you was to put those in order from importance, by 1 being the most important and, 4 being the least. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what mine is, but you let me know what yours will be in the comments. Mine would be number 1 will be diet, because I can control that, right? I can control my diet. I could grow my own food, right? And that would starve the cancer cells, right? Right. Then the number 2 I will put as toxins. I can eliminate some of those toxins from my foods, right? By growing my own food. But then I cannot eliminate the environmental toxins, but I can kind of avoid or put the amount that I have in my body. I can reduce that to a small level to where it doesn't feed the cancers by not eating out of these dishes that have the chemicals, not eating the foods that have the chemicals. Okay. And then the next thing is 3, stress management. I can control that, right? I can learn how to control my stress, and then exercise. So that's what I would say. I would say diet, toxins, stress, and exercise. That will be mine. Let me know what y'all's will be. We're going to keep moving. See, J3 said diet and stress, the first and the last. Gotcha. Let's keep going.
Oftentimes when you ask somebody what is their risk of cancer in the general population, you may hear things like 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 10. People are shocked to learn that it's 1 in 2. Just this decade alone, we're going to lose 100 million lives to cancer worldwide, which exceeds the impact of heart disease, tuberculosis, malaria, HIV combined.
Scientists announced today that if your hand is bigger than your face, you have cancer. Ha-ha! Got you!
Those are the three most life-altering words anyone can hear is, you have cancer. So my life changed.
The cancer has spread to your lymph nodes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's not good.
It's tough because you feel like you've got to make sense of a situation and you don't even speak the language.
If you'll just step over here to the sink and drink this? Well, if you say so, Doctor.
It was just sort of a whirlwind where you kind of get put on a conveyor belt and you're just kind of like going down the conveyor belt and people are doing things and you're just kind of like, okay, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do.
Mom says to stop trying to give yourself cancer.
Just gonna get a little bit of cancer, Stan.
I was living a very happy life and a very fulfilled life, but it was not a particularly healthy life. I was 38 and had never had a mammogram, and I felt this tumor really clear, and I just knew. The next Monday, I was in a surgeon's office who said, you have cancer, you have the most aggressive form of breast cancer. You're about to go on a crazy ride.
What was said, what was done as the time had arrived. All the ways we could run, all the things we could try. Oh my, can you tell me where this is gonna lead?
When I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, they told me it had spread. And I was in for a long, hard road of treatment.
And everybody says, don't tell your kids that you're gonna be okay, because then if you're not, you lied to them and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, no, I'm gonna be fine. You know, I didn't want them to take on that too in their little brains.
I'm gonna say, you're gonna say no.
But there are no guarantees. And there are so many things I still wanted to do.
Miles away from the places that we used to be.
We all have cancer cells. I had never learned that in medical school. And this is the worst news of the evening. It gets better after this.
Look at the data if you can, but raw data is challenging. It's hard, right? Who can read cancer journals? And you need somebody to filter through the science, understand what is important, what can give hope, and then spread that message.
But a new take on an old problem isn't always what people want to hear.
Dr. David Servin Schreiber says we are in the midst of a self-inflicted cancer epidemic. As an oncologist reading this book, what were your thoughts?
Complete and utter tosh. Well-meaning tosh, but tosh.
How do people know what to believe when every 5 minutes there's a doctor with a good story and he cites a bunch of studies? Then I talk to you and he says, you say it's garbage. How do we know what to believe?
That's the big criticism of a lot of the things that you're saying, what David's saying is, it sounds good, but there's no science behind it.
Oh, Jesus. And a lot of people have big mouth there, and they're talking about things that they don't know. My lab is focused on cancer treatment. Cancer is not something that strikes you suddenly when you're 60, 65, 70. The first cell that are mutated that gives rise to a cancer appears when you are 15, 16, 17, and it takes decades for this single mutated cell to give a clinically expressed cancer.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause this. Welcome in, my Renaissance. Thank you for coming in. She put it. But before that, LGG had a comment. I don't know what I am a EMGUS patient. I don't know what that is. Every 6 months, I check my protein ratio in my blood. So this is not a joke. It's real. It is definitely real. Definitely. I don't know what the word was that you were saying, LGG. Let me know. She said, I don't think I can control toxins, even if I grew my own food in the ground. I don't know what the neighbors have in their ground being washed into my garden when it rains. She says, "Hey, everybody." She is right about you can't control. Let me say, you can control it to some extent, which means you can control the levels. You're not going to eradicate it altogether, but you can control the levels. So you don't know what they have in their garden, but you can control how much you are exposed to and decrease your levels. So if you know that your neighbor is not a person that's doing that, that's not doing organic gardening or whatever, they're using chemicals, okay, it's a possibility that you may get some of that in your foods. But stuff that don't add to those levels by buying non-stick pots or um, continuously going buy food from the grocery store or um, using perfumes and lotions and things that weren't made, from it's certain things you could do to decrease your levels. That's how you control it. You're not going to eliminate it, but you can control how much you are exposed to. You can definitely do that. And by you keeping your levels low, that'll help you decrease your chances of developing or feeding the cancer. She says, "Thank you, Bayou, for ringing the bell. You are welcome. When people see the rich, it makes them stand at attention because money dies, not keep the disease away." Right. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not eating right, you can't buy the cure. You have to do it.
It's estimated today that about 70% of all cancer death could be prevented by simple change in lifestyle. 70%. The first evidence that cancer was lifestyle related originates when we start comparing the rates of cancer worldwide. In the 80s, the Japanese population started westernizing its lifestyle and diet. In 2005, the rate of colorectal cancer in Japan is the highest in the world, from one of the lowest in the world, within 25 years. So it is this change in the incidence of cancer within the same population that we, in cancer, discover that the way we live influences the way we die.
Just to show you how big a 52-inch casket is, it's the size of a double bed.
The overall need for oversized caskets goes up every year. You're talking about something that's going to have to be moved with some kind of machinery.
Obesity has been shown to be a key factor in the development of cancer because the most inflammatory cell in a human body are the fat cell. When you are overweight, that creates a chronic inflammatory condition that favors physiologically the development of tumor.
This is the map of obesity in America in 1985. Slightly darker blue, less than 10%. Light blue.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. I don't know if y'all remember, but we did a gumbo garden conversation a while ago about, what was it? I don't know. We was talking about eating. Oh, that was part of our, no sugar thing. And we were talking about how a skinny person can be unhealthy because they're skinny, but they have fat cells. And the fat person can be healthy, but they just, because they have skinny cells. So if you are having more fat cells, that's what makes you unhealthy, right? It's the cells, your fat cells, that makes you obese, right? That makes you unhealthy. If you have a surplus of fat cells, that's what makes you unhealthy. So let's see. She says it's a disease or condition where abnormal protein is found in the blood. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. I don't know much about that. The only thing that I know, well, I don't know nothing about that. Says, excuse me, but I've been dealing with that for 20 years. Oh my God. Okay. I am so sorry to hear that. I'll be curious to know. I'm going to do some research on that, and I will be curious to know as to how that can. I'm pretty sure, 90% sure that it probably relates to what we're eating in some kind of way. I would bet my money on that, but I'm definitely going to do some research on that. So it's fat cells, guys. They're talking about fat cells. Make sure you pay
Lose
attention.
between 10 and 15%. Now I want to show you what an epidemic looks like. 1985, 86, 90, 91. The first states with more than 15%.
Hey, Urban, thank you for coming.
95, 2000, 2001, 2005. The first states with more than a third of the people obese. 2006, 2007, 2008. So this may be the map of cancer in our country in 10 years. Which is a pretty scary perspective.
We've entered the age of convenience. We're sleeping less, consuming more, and physical activity is a choice, not a necessity. When we live in a sedentary state, all of our body's systems are weakened, which creates an environment that feeds the growth of cancer cells inside us. So what happens if you introduce even a moderate amount of exercise into your life? With this anti-cancer pillar, your body will start to repair itself from within, cleaning out contaminants so when you exercise, you are decreasing your cancer risk. At the same time, you'll also reduce excess hormones that stimulate cancer growth, all of which boosts your immune system and makes you more resistant to disease. With all that going on, odds are you'll feel better too. And you can do it by taking just one small step.
Sorry for your loss.
And then another.
Welcome in, PI.
And another. And another.
I actually thought that I was going to get breast cancer at some point.
It was
Because
one of the first things Meg told me when I met her, actually.
really romantic. When I was diagnosed with a recurrence will wake you up in a way that even the original diagnosis did not. And I realized, holy cow, I've got this thing. Like, I really have to figure out what to do now. I can't just rely on the conventional treatments. I have to really figure out how I can help myself. And so I said to my oncologist, okay, if I were your wife, what would you tell me to do? And he said, well, I'd tell you to exercise. Can you tell me why, as a cancer patient, I need to exercise? And he said, Meg, just exercise. When you're asking people or suggesting that they make a lifestyle change, but not giving them the reason, what are the odds that they're going to actually, haul their sorry self out of bed on a Sunday morning and go exercise? Practically nil.
Here's a study of women who had breast cancer, and we're looking at their sense of survival. The best they can do is moderate physical activity, which means 30 minutes of walking 6 times a week. Reduction in mortality of 50%. Now this
30 minutes of walking 6 times a week. Just walking, that's considered exercise. So that means, if you ain't doing that just in your just normal living, I don't know what to say. Then that means you're just sitting on the couch not doing nothing all day. Right? So you want to at least get some walking in, whether it's if you're retired or your life doesn't require you to be somewhere at a certain time every day, you at least need to get up and walk. At least need to do that. I thank God that I have a job where I do a lot of walking. I've been tracking my steps. I don't go to a gym or nothing like that every day, but I do get my steps in, right? And we need to make sure that we are not sedentary people. exercising doesn't necessarily mean that you're showing up at a gym every day, right? Exercising means you're doing some kind of physical activity to get your blood moving, to keep your body limber, to keep your muscles and everything, your organs functioning. Okay, you got to do some kind of moving every day. So don't get discouraged, people, when you hear exercises. He's not saying that you need to be lifting weights and pumping iron and running and all that. No, you need to be doing some, if it's nothing but, like he said, walking, walking. So I spoke to Irvin, and my mama Shirley said she lost a friend to lung cancer, cut all the sugar out of the diet. Um, that I'm gonna say, my I've had several patients, and I've had my own mother also suffer with breast cancer, and then there are different forms of cancer. What I've learned in the journey, um, and not only with cancer, but with most of these diseases, especially diabetes, we're set up to fail. They tell you to follow these American heart diets or diabetic diets or whatever kind of diets, but those diets still contain the very thing that causes the diseases. And they don't tell you that these diets still contain hidden ingredients that causes your disease. Think about it. You got diabetics. We all know that table sugar is not good for you, right? And they have you do these diabetic diets and buy this sugar-free stuff. We've done the studies. We've done the research and looked at it and found that there are uh, different types of sugar substitutes that's worse than the table sugar that you're eliminating, that are in the products that they are suggesting that you buy. So that's setting you up for failure, telling you, offering you an alternative that's worse than what you already have, right? So someone um, that's in the hospital suffering with uh, diabetes, they're still being served from a cafeteria, yet they may label it as a diabetic diet. Those foods on their tray is not actually conducive to their health. It's not helping them to maintain their blood sugars. It's actually causing sometimes spikes in the blood sugar. It's causing them long-term damage because it's mostly probably processed food that's they're getting it out of a can. It's not grown in somebody's garden. It's not organic stuff. It's manufactured processed food that you're still eating. So it's set up. They're there and they're pumping you with the insulin to cover you for that food, that sugar that they're giving you. So it's set up to fail. If we don't know and learn that there are hidden things in these recommendations that they're giving us, then that's why we're not getting cured, right? So when we think we're eliminating certain things from our diets, but when you do the research and find out in actuality, you're not. You're doing more harm than good. We think we are, but we're not because we don't know that they hiding stuff. We buying stuff that says all natural, and come to find out, all natural don't mean all natural, right? So we got to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Did I speak to PIA? Welcome in, PIA. Welcome in. My Renaissance grandma says it shows how naive we can be. I thought growing up diabetes was only in overweight people, right? I guess because that's what I saw in the family. Then I met two people who were probably a size 0. Yep, and with diabetes. Yeah. And then they would tell you it's hereditary, it's in your family. If somebody in your family have it, then you have the gene to be diabetic. Hosh posh. That is not true. I hope you guys have learned better. She said, I didn't think about the general curses of it. Hereditary. Right. Yep. That's what they tell you. That's what they tell you. When in all actuality, it has everything to do with what you're putting in that hole in your face. Yes, my diet has changed drastically based on following anti-cancer diet and anti-fat, anti-inflammatory diet. It's very hard to balance this yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard, but stay the course. Do what you can. Do what you can, because if you don't, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Do your research and find out these things that are hidden that they're hiding from you to keep you to eventually come to them and ask for medicines, which will not cure you but will help you manage your symptoms. I'm sorry. Do your research and keep fighting. Keep fighting, y'all. Keep fighting. Please keep fighting, because there's no one coming to fight for you. Keep fighting. Do your research. Be your own advocate. Storm says, you got to run. It's been great hanging out with you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Let's keep going, y'all.
This is an enormous number.
Now, had my oncologist told me that, I mean, I would have made that change immediately.
Olympic athlete.
Yeah. We know so much about what patients can do to delay or forestall disease, that the fact that they are not given this information by their doctors borders on malpractice.
There's a massive ignorance. And I think this is pretty much true for most physicians. You know, we're trained to do surgery and medications. Then once we start practicing, we're reimbursed to do surgery and medication. And because you can't make money with it, whatever else is not surgery and medication, we think of it as not medicine.
David's on a mission to change the way we think about actual health care, to empower patients and their doctors.
You know, it's not just about adding pomegranate juice or drinking green tea. These are great things to do, but just one thing isn't going to make a difference, right? You're going to have to combine them, change your lifestyle.
It's as if all the varied experiences in his life have led him to this moment. He's the scientist, the patient, and the doctor all rolled into one.
So tell us about your methods.
Well, none of them are my methods, which is the other thing I found interesting. They were all there in the scientific literature.
Critics would say, you know something, nutrition, exercise, it's just not evidence-based medicine.
Well, by the time we have enough evidence, I'm going to be dead. So I'd better start acting on the basis of what I can find now in the scientific literature and what makes the most sense. And if I can do something that is very likely to help me and has very few chances of hurting me, then I'm going to do it, whatever the critics say.
Il a demandé à sa secrétaire, qui s'appelait Delphine, après la fin de cette session de formation, mes coordonnées. Donc on s'est eu au téléphone après. Et à peine on s'était parlé 5 minutes, qu'il me disait « j'ai pas envie de m'engager, j'ai peur, je veux pas faire d'enfant ». C'est une danse. Oh putain, quelle horreur. Et je lui disais « mais David, si on doit se voir, ce sera pour prendre un verre d'abord ». Moi, le premier truc qui m'a complètement troublée, c'est-à-dire que je l'ai vu sur scène quand je l'ai rencontré pour la première fois, je lui dis « bof, c'est pas mon genre d'homme, quoi, du tout ». Et c'est son regard. C'est un truc, j'ai toujours dit, son regard de petit garçon. Il a besoin d'intensité, David. Il a besoin d'intensité pour se sentir vivant.
I actually feel a lot healthier today than I ever was before I had cancer. Which every time I think about it, blows my mind. It's too bad I had to go through cancer to get there. You know, and so what I wish for most people is, you know, why don't you do this now so that you won't even get cancer?
I came to Memphis because I literally read somewhere that Memphis was the poorest major city in America. So I came here with about $12 in my pocket, literally not knowing a soul.
What
people know us for, and at the core of what we do is provide health care for people who work in low-wage jobs who don't have health insurance. Okay, all right, I'll see you in 2 weeks. They shine your shoes, cook your food, they'll one day dig your grave. They don't complain. Yet when they get sick, their options are very few. If we were to develop a process whereby when you come to the doctor, it's all focused on the future. You know, what do you need to do to stay healthy? That makes a lot of sense.
I wanted to talk to you about the connection between obesity and diabetes and obesity and cancer. I don't know how many people you have with cancer who've come through here.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we see a lot. Almost every person in our clinic is a cancer patient ready to happen.
My father died of cancer, lung cancer. My sister-in-law died of cancer. My grandmother died of cancer. And my daddy was a diabetic. My grandmother was a diabetic. But they were. I was not. When I came down with diabetes, I didn't want to go on the needle. This is Erica, my fitness coach, young lady that is helping me. She makes sure my blood pressure is good. Still high. Still high? Yeah. Never this high. Never. Okay. Change.
I want to pause this for a second before we continue to looking at her story. And I want to address cancer, Lord. Hey, Tampa, welcome in. Thank you for being here. She says she's driving but listening. She had a question. So, why do some people say eating raw fruits and vegetables are good for you, but being a diabetic, you should not eat those fruits? Well, it's a tactic, right? Um, they tell you not to eat it because in their mind, they're saying that it contains too much sugar, right? Natural sugar is good for you, but as long as you're doing it in moderation, your body knows how to break down those sugars, right? But what we do is consume too much of it. And then what we do is instead of eating it raw, which meaning in its natural form, we juice it, take out the fibers out of it, which is what you need to help maintain your blood sugar, right? We instead of eating the apple as a whole, we crunching it up, making juice and all of that. We drinking the apple juice and we are doing things to take out of the nutrients in it that we need. So that's why they're telling you, yeah, it's better for you to eat it raw, eat it in its as closest to its natural state possible because the way that it is made, your body knows how to process it. Whereas if you eat it, um, the further away you eat it from its natural state, the more harm it will do to you and the less nutritional it is for you. Okay. Uh, PIA says yes, preservatives, which we don't need. That goes into again saying, everything there's a time and a season. So we don't need to be adding these preservatives to these foods because it's not supposed to last you, you know, all throughout the year. Some things are not you're not supposed to have or not supposed to eat at certain times of the year. It's very, very you have to pay attention to how the world and the earth is. It's just that some things are you should have at this time and some things that you haven't. It's just based on what your body is doing at the time and what's going on in your environment at the time, right? So, say just in simple terms, in the summertime, we not eating gumbo, and well, some of us are. We're not eating heavy foods in the summertime, right? Because we don't need that because most of us it's hot and we're more outside, we're more active, we're more um, moving a lot more because we're outside and doing a lot of more things. Whereas in the wintertime, we're eating things that are more hearty and that'll keep you um, full and warm and things inside because it's going to last you for a longer period of time because you don't need to eat those lighter foods that, because you want to eat something that will last you out the whole day or the 24 hours or whatever to sustain you for the activities, the decrease in activities that you're doing. So she says because some fruits have a high content of sugar. So she's answering, yep, Tampa Creek's question. She says we all need to deal with root cause of insulin resistance. Fruits are not the culprit. It's carbs. IMO. Yep. So you just have to do your research and maintain eating what your body was designed to eat. Stay within the lines of what you're supposed to eat. It's when we get outside of what was intended for us to consume when we're supposed to consume it, that's when we end up in trouble. Oh, she was trying to say preventatives. Oh, okay. It still went in context. It's okay. It's okay. She said that's why why my homemade foods go bad quicker because we leave out the preservatives, right? The fruit produce certain benefits during their bearing season, right? Welcome in, GT Grows in Alaska. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yes, in my opinion. My brain is gone. I was trying to say, she said, in my opinion. I'm trying to figure it out. Thank you, GT. Thank you. Good catch. Good catch. Ah, she says, I am, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Urban. But she is right. So eating these things with these carbs, basically good sugars, bad sugars, um, simple sugars, complex sugars. We did talk about that before. You guys need to know about that. Eating these things. You don't need to eat these simple sugars or simple carbs. You need to eat the complex carbs, complex sugars, because the simple ones spikes your blood sugars. And the more you eat it, the more elevated your blood sugar is, the more damage you're doing to your body, right? And you don't want to stay in elevated sugar levels, insulin levels, because that is what's causing us the diseases and the problems and the inflammation. That is the bottom line. And that's essentially what they're getting to in this documentary that we're watching. That's why they're saying those four things. And they mentioned diet. It is the thing that is going to reverse it and sustain you. Okay? She says go back to buy you food portions that we really supposed to. Right, your food portions. That's right. Um we talked about that before with the food portions, saying how you only need to eat the amount of food that your body needs to conduct whatever processes that it's going to do throughout the day. If you're not doing a whole lot of exercises or a lot of moving around, you don't need to eat large portions. So you definitely need to decrease your portions and have that to coincide with the amount of work that you're doing throughout the day. We got to get out the habit of eating for satisfaction, and we got to be eating more for survival, more for giving it to the body so that the body can change what we're eating into energy, and then that body can burn it to perform whatever processes that it needs to do to maintain your health. Let's see. Modern diet needs to prioritize fiber. I have, and it's made a huge difference. Okay. Yes. Yes, it does. It does not. I mean, that is the one of the tactics that it tells you. That's why they have us drinking juice instead of eating the apple or eating the orange. Um, you need fiber in your diet, but they want y'all to be stopped up. They want y'all not to eat it. They want y'all not to know these things so that it could cause buildup, so they can cause inflammation, so you can be backed up not only in your intestines, in your gut, and things don't work properly. Then you got to go to them for them to tell you you need more fiber in your diet. Here's some Metamucil, and we're gonna give you some uh processed man-made fiber because you're not getting it in your everyday diet. Why are you getting me? Why I gotta go to the store and buy Metamucil or whatever the other one is? And some of it, it's not even fiber. It's just a derivative, or I'm not gonna say a derivative or a look-alike. When all you have to do is just eat it, right? Nah. But we get to the point to where we take those things and we do other things to where we damage our bodies to where when we do get the natural fiber, it takes your body a while to learn back how to break that down. But all you have to do is look, LGG said it, is fast to reset your body so that it can go back to functioning how it's supposed to function. It's all you got to do. All you have to do. Let me see. Welcome in, Kenneth Wilkinson. Welcome in. Welcome in, Homesteader Rachel. Welcome in, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see. Tim said I was told you eat to nourish your body with the right nutrients. Right. That's why you eat. That's supposed to be the purpose of why you're eating. Welcome in, David Corey with Crop. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. He's amen in that. Amen in that. She says, I really believe we eat too much. When you don't exercise, you definitely don't need to eat 3 meals a day. Definitely. Yep, definitely. Now let's speaking. All right, y'all. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
The way we eat, you can't do that overnight. We didn't do it overnight.
It's not easy. You're gonna be watching TV and a commercial will come on. And there's a beverages and cold ice water running down beside it. And you gotta struggle.
Cheeseburger?
Yes.
I love Paris in the summer when it's sizzling.
You got what I eat. And then finally reality hits you that there's a change that got to be made.
Good.
Either you're going to go on the court, play ball, or stay on the bench. And I want to play ball.
The doing of this is not rocket science.
Well, why haven't we figured it out yet?
We have not put enough of our resources into developing what real prevention looks like. When you look at the cost that America puts into healthcare, and then you look at the outcomes, in any other business, you would say, this model's broken. Somebody got to change that.
We spend most of our healthcare dollars treating preventable diseases. We are getting sicker while a few companies get richer.
We figured you'd be here. Cigarettes, they're killers.
I met up with a small-town lawyer who took on the tobacco giants and won.
That's my daughter, and that's my grandchild, Kate. We all do what we can do to help people. And I think that's pretty much the American spirit. I don't see anything special about me at all. I'm a redneck from Mississippi. My fight started in 1986 out on the street corner out there. A friend of mine named Nathan Horton came by and he told me that he had lung cancer and that his doctor had told him that cigarettes caused his lung cancer. And he said, that doesn't seem right. I ought to be able to sue him. These people who are causing the deaths of millions of people worldwide, and they knew what they were doing. So it became personal for me. Do you think the Surgeon General of the United States is more qualified than you are to determine if cigarette smoking is hazardous to your health?
Frankly, no.
The tobacco companies got together and set up a scientific advisory board. The scientists quickly understood if you want to get money from them, you do things that are not going to find cigarettes cause cancer. And the theme was create doubt.
How can cigarette smoking be the cause of lung cancer if the cause of lung cancer is, as yet, unknown?
There was an active, concerted effort to lie to the American people.
This is the open-minded approach the tobacco industry follows, and which it commends to others.
When we tried Nathan Horton's case, the defense was that nobody made him smoke. He assumed the risk. Cancer is a great mystery. Americans have the right to choose. They wrap themselves in the American flag. I mean, it's perverse now to think about it, but that's what they did.
State attorneys general and a group of private lawyers got the tobacco industry to admit in bold new warnings on cigarettes that their product is addictive, causes cancer, and kills smokers.
It was a 14-year fight until we finally brought it home. But they could see the future better than we could. And so they diversified.
Big Tobacco took the billions of profits they made from generations of addicted smokers and invested in something more family-friendly. Something that could have a big effect
Pay
on our future.
attention.
Something that we consume every day. The food we eat. In 1985, tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds bought Nabisco Foods. Tobacco pioneer Philip Morris bought General Foods, and 3 years later, Kraft Foods, making them the largest food producer in North America. And leaving the business of food in the capable hands of the same corporations who helped addict us to tobacco. Using the same tactics they used to promote tobacco, food companies set about peddling the entire planet a diet of processed goods, loaded with chemicals and additives, masquerading as food. This new machine operates with specific targets in mind, like addicting consumers, without them knowing it.
Nowadays, practically everything's in a package. You don't know what's in that package except what the label is. You have to be able to trust the label. The food companies have taken advantage of that. And the fact is that the food is loaded with chemicals and artificial ingredients and things like sugar. And I looked at your Chobani yogurt, and there's no sugar there listed. But there's evaporated cane juice. I don't know what that is, but juice, that's natural. I don't know. And all it is sugar. They make up names, and it's illegal to do that.
Welcome back, my guest tonight. Pulitzer-winning a reporter. He writes for the New York Times. His new book is called Salt, Sugar, Fat.
My thing is, they say it's illegal to do that, but I ain't never heard nobody get arrested yet. Have y'all? Ain't nobody been in court, but I've seen several lawsuits, but nobody went to jail, and it's still going on.
Food giants hooked us. Please welcome to the program, Michael Moss. Sir. If a banana and an apple were cheaper, maybe I wouldn't eat a yodel, but holy are yodels tasty.
I don't know if you noticed, but it melts in your mouth.
Oh, I've noticed.
When it... Too much of these foods, which I like to call the foods we hate to love, can make you overweight or otherwise ill. But now we know that they've known this for years and years, even as they continued adding in heaps of salt, sugar, and fat to their products. You can see through the records that I was able to obtain, the meeting minutes and the memos, the tobacco executives met with their food division people. They would nudge and cajole them and push them to sell more, to make more money. These are probably the height of food engineering. Put a Cheeto in your mouth, what happens? It dissolves. That sends a signal to your brain that keep going, right?
I think we finally found their weakness, Mr. Lee.
The whole point is that we're not just trying to get people to like our products, we want them to want more and more of them. But there's no word they hate more than the A word, addiction. Even according to these scientists who work with the food industry, in their words, the industry has been exploiting the biology of the child by orienting so many of its products toward sweetness. So when you go back to the perimeter of the store for those vegetables, especially that sort of high-powered nutrition blockbuster broccoli, the kid is going, this is what I want. Dang, I don't want broccoli.
I do not like broccoli, and I haven't liked it since I was a little kid, and my mother made me eat it, and I'm president of the United States, and I'm not going to eat any more broccoli.
Now there's another vegetable in trouble. Asked about Brussels sprouts, the president gave a decisive thumbs down.
It's pretty easy to knock what's good for you, and much harder to sell it.
I just don't know how to get the word out about Florida blueberries.
With all this stellar PR, it's no wonder we eat more processed food than anywhere else on the planet.
Thanks, guys.
This is the modern farm in America. It's called an industrial feedlot. Where do you see the green here? There is no green in the modern feedlot. Why is that? Because instead of eating grass, these animals are eating only corn and soy.
Industrial
Why should we worry about that? Well, because
No grass.
Grass is filled with omega-3 fatty acids, which actually reduce cell growth and reduce inflammation. And corn and soy are filled with omega-6 fatty acids. The omega-6 fatty acid, it turns out, raise inflammation in the body. They stimulate cell growth. So what happens? When these animals no longer eat grass and eat corn and soy, the meat that comes from cows is filled with what? With omega-6 fatty acid. What's the American national dish? Hamburger and French fries, right? You know that industrial red meat has been identified as being one of the worst promoters of colon cancer. The vegetable we put with it, French fries, it turns out that potatoes actually bring up blood sugar. Then we fry the oil so that it sucks up all our antioxidant defenses in our body. And then we make that our national dish. Now, you'd think that it was the Defense Department that made this like the national dish for another country that they want to get rid of, you know?
I reference McDonald's a lot because I go to McDonald's. I love the silence that follows that statement. Because we all know better, right? We've all read the articles, seen those documentaries. It's the same message. Look, McDonald's is really bad for you. It's very high in fat and calories, and we don't even know where the meat comes from. And we're all like, that's disgusting. I'll have a Big Mac, a large fry, and a 2-gallon drum of Diet Coke. I'd just like to see one commercial that showed people 5 minutes after they ate McDonald's. Oh. Momentary pleasure followed by incredible guilt, eventually leading to cancer. I'm loving it.
Brad, give me a little more juice. Check, 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 check.
You know, it's interesting, when I was in the hospital, the first meal that they served me after surgery, I couldn't believe it. They served me a sloppy Joe. You know, I wasn't a super healthy guy at all, but they brought this sloppy Joe out. And I'm like, surely this is not what I should be eating just after you took out a third of my large intestine. There's sort of a small movement that says don't blame the victim, but if you accept the fact that maybe you contributed to your problem, then the natural logic says, well, maybe I can contribute to solving the problem. If I caused this, maybe I can fix it.
You got to care about your life if you want me to help you figure out a way to live your life better. If I weigh 300 pounds and I'm fighting cancer, and you pointing your finger at me, thinking that that's going to make me healthier, I don't think so. That wouldn't make me change. That's why in our wellness center, you'll notice everything is about community, and it's about doing this together, because that's where the magic happens.
You have to realize that you as an individual need help. It never even dawned on me what I was doing to this body. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Miss Brenda.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
She was having multiple sweet drinks every day, and then
2 liters.
2 liters. I wasn't gonna
2
say
liters.
it. She said it. Yeah.
Plenty of Pepsi.
Yeah. And so just seeing that those little changes, you know, it's small steps. Maybe it didn't all go at once. It was
No,
just,
it didn't. I have not had a Coke, a Sprite, a Kool-Aid drink since February. Nothing but water.
For a better start in life, start cola earlier. Of course, sugar contributes to the diabetes epidemic and the obesity epidemic, but unfortunately, we now know, and it's a recent discovery, that sugar contributes to cancer as well.
Nearly a third of some common cancers, including breast and colon cancers, have something called insulin receptors on their surface. Insulin binds to these receptors and signals the tumor to start consuming glucose. When we eat or drink sugar, it can serve as a catalyst to fuel certain types of cancers.
The whole idea that cancer actually feeds off of sugar, particularly a cancer like mine, I was literally like feeding it as I was trying to fight it in the same moment, like in the chemo suite, sucking on a tangy taffy, which is so absurd, but I didn't know. I mean, I had no idea, and nobody told me. Yeah.
We've invented phenomenal vehicles for pouring sugar into people without them noticing.
We live in a fast-paced world, and our food has adapted at warp speed. But our bodies were built to thrive on healthy fuel, unprocessed nutrients like fruits, vegetables, protein, and water. It's a pretty simple concept, but the results are much more extraordinary than you might think. It's the reaction inside our bodies on a cellular level that makes the nutrition pillar a powerful tool of the anti-cancer method.
We know that this lifestyle change that I made, and not only for myself, but I made it for my family. This is my daughter, Trivia. She has lost 68 pounds, and we're so proud of her, and she said her goal is to lose 80 more pounds.
Yes. I work 11 to 7, and I work at a hospital, so y'all know it's very stressful. So when I used to get off work in the morning at 7:30, I knew all the restaurants I was gonna hit. You know, I was gonna do McDonald's one day, Chick-fil-A the next day, Burger King the next day. I had them all mapped out. And I would do that, and it would be a comfort to me after a hard night's work. But I didn't realize that it was making me gain the weight.
You know, it makes no sense that you can't do anything to help your body be more protected against cancer. Obviously, the food you eat every day, 3 times a day, has to have an impact. So tell me, what should I eat? What's the typical anti-cancer plate? Mostly vegetables, mostly plant-based. Obviously, foods contain molecules, and some of these molecules happen to have very specific and potent anti-cancer activity. And a researcher at the University of Montreal, he had the idea of buying a new piece of equipment for his $40 million lab he bought a juicer.
We've been looking at the anti-cancer properties of molecules in food for about 15 years.
C'est des doses réponses. On regarde.
So why, when we talk about prevention, are plants so important?
Oh, I haven't seen this result. That's very good.
How do plants that have no arms to fight and no legs to run protect themselves against plant-eating animals, bacteria, virus, insect? Plants defend themselves by producing thousands and thousands of substances that are either toxic or killing the bacteria that try to eat them. These molecules, we call them phytochemicals. Phyto means plant, chemicals from plant. And by pure serendipity of evolution, out of these thousands of phytochemicals, a couple of thousand also have anti-cancer properties. This should not be a big surprise because about 50% of the drugs we use in the clinic to treat cancer today, Taxol, vincristine, vinblastine, and so on, are isolated originally from plants. This part here is a human tumor. So these mice are being treated with various food extract, broccoli and garlic and blueberry.
And it shrunk the tumor by how much?
90%. 90%.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Broccoli,
if you
garlic,
would have-
and blueberry, right? He said that. Excuse me. They're treating these specimens with natural stuff from foods.
These types of results with drugs that would be tested from the pharmaceutical industry, I would call the head of research anywhere he would be on the planet at any time of the day and tell him, Bob, we've got an incredible results with compound W6N9W9. And he would say, what is it? And it's a 90% reduction. He would be excited like crazy.
My thing is though that they do this research, and in the research when they're doing on these specimens, they use the actual plant or fruits or whatever. But instead of telling the public the actual fruits and vegetables they use, they sell us the derivatives or the ones that they have made in the lab. Instead of telling you, you can grow this and that'll reduce your cancer cell. You can go and get these organic things and use these in combination. No, they want to find it out and then they develop a pill that you can take and sell it to you. Right? That's what my issue is.
And if you eat plants, you put in your bloodstream these compounds that have shown to have anti-cancer properties. It's the family of cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprout, broccoli, garlic, and onion, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Some spices, such as ginger and turmeric, have the most potent plant-based anti-inflammatory molecules that have been found in nature.
Yes, Rachel.
So
that's
when
what
people
he said.
say that there's no evidence, these people don't know what they're talking about.
Yes, he said blueberries, broccoli, and garlic.
Ça, est-ce que c'est pas des banalités? C'est évidemment la question qu'on a envie de vous poser.
Il y a 3 ans, quand j'ai publié ce livre pour la première fois, je me suis fait insulter en disant qu'est-ce que c'est que ce mec qui dit qu'on peut aider à guérir le cancer avec des framboises. C'était considéré comme de l'imposture d'oser suggérer qu'il y avait un impact de l'alimentation sur le devenir de la maladie cancer. De mon point de vue, ce qui est révolutionnaire, c'est que des banalités ont un impact aussi important sur des maladies aussi graves et qu'on ne le dit pas et qu'on ne s'en sert pas. Donc, est-ce que c'est des banalités ou est-ce que c'est révolutionnaire? C'est à vous de me le dire.
You know, you said before that you used to be arrogant and aloof, but you don't come across that way.
You know, I think this is actually something that happens to most people who go through a life-threatening experience. There's a moment where a period of time after you looked at death in the eye and thought this was the end, you become very humble. You know, it's an incredibly humbling experience. And arrogance, if it's part of your makeup, which it was for me, it's also what makes you say that your little life may have something to contribute to other people. In my case, it's a family trait. So, you know. My father, he escaped from France to become a U.S. Air Force fighter pilot during World War II. And then he started his own newspaper when he was 28. Which became the most successful news magazine. And he sort of passed on the message to his children that, you know, if you want to do something, do it. And so, you know, there was never any sense that if you wanted to do something, it wouldn't work. And so he pushed us.
Quand tu seras plus grand, enfin, tu seras comme ton père, tu feras de la politique? Tu as envie?
Non.
Non? Pourquoi?
Je préfère être docteur, des choses comme ça.
David se devait d'être prophète, qui se devait de laisser une trace, qui se devait de reprendre le flambeau. Il m'a toujours dit, combien de fois il m'a dit, mon cancer m'a sauvé la vie. Parce que sinon, je serais restée ce petit con que j'étais.
Excuse me, you didn't say you're cured.
No, I don't think I am. You know, I'm getting a scan Friday, and I get one every 6 months. I never know. This is not a cancer that goes away. You know?
What kind is it?
It's a brain tumor, so it's something that you have to, you can contain it, maybe, hopefully, but you can't get rid of it.
I think there's some research which shows that you can reduce tumors in the brain with dietary approach.
Yes, absolutely.
So you eat something or other to stop it, right?
Well, that's what I do. Yeah. I follow every single principle that's in here.
Isn't it shrinking?
It's shrunk enough that I'm okay, but you know, it never goes completely away.
17 years.
Than you did.
On the
You
picture.
look a lot younger. It's true. Yes.
We're all vulnerable to cancer. But once you have it, it never really leaves you. And midway through filming, there were signs that my cancer might have come back.
You know, cancer was kind of in the rear view mirror. And when I found out that actually it was fine and there was no recurrence, I think everybody felt happy, you know, relieved. But all of my sisters, within a couple of weeks, went to go get their checkup and their, you know, their mammograms. And my younger sister, Liz, got diagnosed with breast cancer. You know, there was some solace in being able to kind of really, really, really be there. Like, be both like sister, nurse, listener. But I had this other layer in my mind, which is knowing even more than she knew what she was going to go through, because you don't want to freak anybody out. It was really, really, it was sad. It was hard. So Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And we are heading home to eat yummy food and see family and everything else, but also going there to help Liz with her surgery.
What kind of surgery is she having?
She is gonna have what I had 3 years ago, and it's called a double mastectomy.
Wow, I thought it was just called cancer.
Yeah, it's a big word. We weren't really using those kind of words when I had it, right?
No.
It's a deeply internally painful, physically painful fight. And then you're fighting for your life.
You know, patients are stressed out by the fact that they're having cancer, and it's going to be a tough battle, and the treatments are even worse than the disease. But you cannot patent broccoli, fish, jogging, reaching out to friends to reduce stress. You can't patent any of that, even though there's good science showing that it's extremely important to reduce your chances of ever dying from your cancer. Reducing mortality, you know, it's not just improving quality of life. It's about reducing mortality. Sometimes by a factor 4. I might get my tumor back next week. You know, hope not, but who knows? you can have a profound impact on what the outcome is going to be. Nobody's preventing that information from getting to people who may need it. But because you can't make money with it, nobody's pushing for that information to be more widely available or used by patients.
You.
I am. Yeah.
Prevention is difficult to implement in a population because we live in a consumer society where we want the candy now.
With the strength of Zantac handling your heartburn, you can keep on enjoying all the foods you love.
We like pills in the Western world. We want to smoke, we want to be overweight, we don't want to eat vegetables, we don't want to exercise. And at 50, at 60, we develop type 2 diabetes, cancer, heart disease. And you ask people to do something today for benefits in 30 years. Who wants to do that?
And when anyone tries to tell us we should stop eating and drinking ourselves to death, well, this happens.
Yo, Bloomberg, you think drinking 16 ounces of Coke is bad for you?
I mean, I think Bloomberg's a douche.
Obesity is getting worse, and everybody's wringing their hands. I got to do something about it. Nobody's doing anything about it.
Some people say it's about personal freedom. It's about not wanting government to tell them what to do.
Where did I hear this before? Wasn't it smoking?
But
And today, obesity is one of the biggest problems this country
Do you
has.
have to explain that by banning a certain size soft drink or sugary drink?
This is the most ridiculous sort of nanny-statism. It's none of the mayor's business how much soda people are drinking.
The double gulp. The provided container holds almost 5 cans of soda, which is the
Let me pause that because ain't we going through this now where with the food stamps and stuff, they trying to, well, they have limited certain things that you could buy. And what y'all hear people say, how they gonna tell me what I can buy with my food stamp? Okay, so they trying to influence you or encourage you to make healthier choices. And instead of us looking at it from that perspective to say that, you know, they're trying to help you in that way to make better choices, we looking at it as if they trying to tell me how to spend my money, trying to tell me what. That's how we have been conditioned to look at things like that, right? We looking at it, they trying to tell me what to do. They trying to rule me, tell me how to spend my money. Oh, look at it for what it is. They trying to tell you to make healthier options, right? That's how backwards we are.
equivalent of eating over 40 Oreos.
Obesity is not a public health problem. Obesity is a private health problem.
According to Open Secrets, Big Food spent $27 million lobbying politicians last year. Coca-Cola and Pepsi led the charge.
Just as Detroit hated it when laws mandated seatbelts, and the tobacco industry hated it when smokers were forced outside of restaurants.
Today it's cigarettes, tomorrow it's candy.
The restaurant industry hates this new regulation designed to promote health, and like the others, is making the freedom argument.
Mississippi lawmakers have approved what they're calling the anti-Bloomberg bill.
Tony Smith is the state senator who's putting limits on policymakers to keep soda bans out of Mississippi.
You know, we want you to be able to come to Mississippi and operate your business with the least amount of intrusive government as possible.
One of Smith's top campaign contributors is the Mississippi branch of the National Restaurant Association. The NRA advocates for food companies, including the ones that make their money off of giant beverages, like Dunkin' Donuts, KFC, and home of the Big Gulp, 7-Eleven.
I was approached by the Restaurant Association, and they said, look, we see this sort of coming across the nation. We'd like to do a preemptive bill that would prevent a municipality of mandating what a restaurant could or could not serve.
And these sodas are mammoth. I mean, they're huge. Like, it's really kind of, there's no point to it when you think about it. It was sort of like people were standing up for the right to really hurt themselves.
No, they're standing up for freedom of choice. We're not against trying to be a healthier Mississippi. We're not against that. But is there again, we're talking about regulation. That's what the bill addresses, regulations.
You're not for regulation, really.
at all. You're on the health committee as
I
well.
am public health
Public
and
health.
welfare.
Okay, so public health, we're in Mississippi, right? Highest obesity rates in the country.
I think Americans have enough common sense. Some make real healthy choices. Some still like to buy the pizza and the French fries. Okay, let the market decide what you got to do.
Now, I'm no politician, but letting the market decide doesn't seem to be helping people living in the state of Mississippi. Worst results in nearly every category.
Okay, Netta said you can decide what you want about with your own money. Yeah, you work and get your own money. You could decide what you want to buy with your own money. But with that government money, you're gonna buy what they want you to buy.
Holmes County, Mississippi, where I live, has the highest rate of amputation from diabetes of any place in the United States, right here in this pretty little town that you're in. These are my neighbors. These are my friends. These are people that I've lived with all of my 68 years. When I realized that this is not some accident, it's the food that they think is the same is not the same anymore.
So you are up for another fight, a big fight.
This is it. I'm up for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
This will be enough for me. Whether we're liberal or whether we're conservative, we've all got that streak in us. But the fact is, you cannot have free choice unless you have an informed choice. And you can't have an informed choice if they're lying about what's on the label. What about PAM cooking spray? Everybody knows what PAM is. It's some kind of little healthy oil with compressed air that you spray it and it gets on your pan. It's not compressed air. And they don't tell you, but it's butane and propane. People don't understand that they are spraying lighter fluid on their children's hot cakes. And it's fabulously successful.
Lighter fluid.
But we can sue their pants off. They may have a lot more lawyers sitting around their table. But you know what? They can't talk but one at a time. And then our work is done. I can go fishing with my grandson.
Now, do you have kind of a structure that you're sequence?
I do. Let's address some of the myths.
You want to get into that?
Yes.
One thing people don't realize is how exceptional the U.S. approach is to the whole area.
Exceptional in a good way?
No, exceptional in allowing every part of health and illness to be commercialized.
When we go to most doctors with any problem, from acid reflux to high blood pressure to high cholesterol, or even an inability to sleep, what do we get? A pill. Not to cure us, but to make the symptoms go away. So we pop the pill, feel a little better, and then we carry on with the behavior that got us sick in the first place. But inside of us, our immune cells are just getting weaker, and our bodies become ideal breeding grounds for cancer. This business of masking symptoms instead of discovering and preventing their causes is booming. And after a lifetime of this, we eventually end up at the door of another doctor asking for a different, more powerful, and much more expensive drug.
So I'm gonna pause it right here. He said a whole mouthful right there. Some people in the chat was saying when they found out about the PAM, they stopped using it. And Irvin said no one reads labels or descriptions. That's why I never use the spray. That's what our problem is. And I think we don't read labels because we got into the habit of trusting the food companies, right? And once they've gained our trust, we just trusted them to provide us with stuff that wasn't causing harm to us. We just don't read the labels, right? Because you just don't think that, first of all, that the country that we live in has laws in place to stop supposedly have laws in place to protect us, right? So you just assume that, you are protected, that these companies will not be allowed to do that. So you don't read, which is what we all have been doing for years. You don't read it because you just have put that trust, basically your life, in the hands of the people who supply you with the food. And that's the whole game plan. They want you to let down your guard. Well, now you know. Do not put your guard down because your best interest is not at heart. She said, I make my own food release for baking with flour, shortening, and oil. It's got to be somewhat better than propane. Yep. Yep. Now it says free will. Free will. Yeah, we have that, but they're manipulating us, right? Like, you have a duty as a human being. But to go back to how I first started this live, we are at WA war, and we're no longer fighting flesh and blood.
Only one of the 12 new cancer drugs approved last year extend life more than 2 months, and the other 11 don't. But they're all being priced at $100,000 or more. Drug companies keep raising prices on last year's drugs. So it's as if Toyota raised the prices on last year's Camry. It's sort of unthinkable, but it's done routinely only in the United States.
No one's going to stop them.
Exactly, but that's because they and their lobbyists have set up rules to protect them from competition.
You might not buy a new TV set because the economy's lousy, or a new car, but medicine? Cancer killing? Something that can combat cancer? Hey, that's the kind of purchase you don't defer.
Throw the switch in the right direction for a future of health and happiness.
There's such a cancer train, and I've been on it. Caring about somebody else who had cancer and going for walks and raising money, being in treatment. I've certainly benefited from drugs that a lot of that research goes into, but we've been looking at this disease the wrong way.
We don't even think about cancer until it happens.
And we're losing sight of what is actually a really simple message that could save people from ever having to enter into that world in the first place.
But we're not there yet.
For Carol.
For my wife.
For my mom. For every pink bucket of grilled or original recipe, KFC makes a 50-cent contribution to Susan G. Komen for the cure. Together, we could make the largest...
There will never be
me,
a single cure for all cancer. It's not one single mutation.
Like this, we know about this. We know what KFC do, right? It's not even meat, right? But they have a commercial saying that they're backing for a cure for a disease that they're causing. That's just wild. That's the world we live in.
It's a complete chromosomal disarray inside the cell. So to think that one single drug will treat all cancer without side effect is a myth.
But when you turn on the news, you'd think we're curing cancer every day.
Well, tonight, you're about to see a discovery.
Researchers may have discovered a miracle drug.
We're actually talking about a cure.
It makes for exciting TV that completely misses the big story. The studies that informed anti-cancer have been published for decades, but no one is talking about them, and no one has to incorporate them because there aren't clinical results like the ones we get with drug trials.
All the tests about cancer are tests of cancer. How strong is your tumor? We're not looking at anything that measures your body's resistance to cancer.
There isn't a big industry out there to fund lifestyle change research. Conducting randomized clinical trials in this nation is primarily funded by the pharmaceutical industry because they have a drug that they're going to sell, and it's a business. So to talk about something like physical activity and modifying somebody's diet, who's incentivized to find the positive study? the pieces of the puzzle are on different tables. So we need to put them on the same table to create this comprehensive care plan. But we need to do the clinical trial to really show that that's the case.
I think what's exciting is to make the demonstration that we can act on the tumor microenvironment.
David knows this is his opportunity to change the way the medical community approaches the disease.
Really put on the map the importance of lifestyle interventions.
And he's spending every waking moment making sure the study launches.
But they don't really do that, though. It would be, let's look at it and see if it's what we were planning on doing anyway.
Allô?
Bébé, c'est moi. Ça va?
Salut chérie.
C'est quoi la bonne nouvelle?
J'étais sûre que tu n'avais pas lu ton message correctement. Tu relis ton message SMS.
Ah bon?
T'es vraiment nouille, hein?
Oh là, mi amor, si tout va bien, nous fêterons la nouvelle année 2011 avec Bébita. Ah! Oh là! Ouh!
On est des warriors.
Ah, grave, ouais. Ouais. Moi qui pensais que j'avais abîmé mon sperme avec mon téléphone portable, tu vois.
Ça va? Tu respires?
Ouais. Tu vas me faire pleurer et c'est pas le moment.
Non, mais pleure pas, chérie. On t'aime, c'est tout.
After World War II, the chemicals that were created for the war machine entered the manufacturing and agricultural industries here at home. Synthetic chemicals, which made for cheap, new, and longer-lasting products, flooded the market, but remained untested for safety to humans. And those toxins still remain in many of our products today. So unlike the exercise and nutrition pillars, where we're often fighting against our own bad habits and ignorance, the struggle with the toxin anti-cancer pillar begins with trying to find out what dangers are hiding in plain sight.
Shiny suns, we're shiny suns, we shine like only shiny suns. Morning!
You've forgotten us already?
Chemical residue left over from your cleaner.
Made from toxic ingredients. We give you the impression clean.
And then we get to watch you clean.
I think there is a fundamental assumption by consumers that when they go into a store, no matter what the product, that somebody somewhere has tested it and is protecting them, that it is safe to buy if it's out there. And that is just a false assumption. There is no pre-testing. You are the guinea pig. What kind of pre-market testing is required by the FDA of ingredients before they're allowed to go into products?
There is no pre-market approval requirement. Companies are responsible for ensuring that the products they market are safe, but they are not required to submit the results of testing to us.
So, you know, the Fox reports whether chickens are dying in the chicken coop. I think that's pretty hilarious, pretty riddled with conflict of interest. The FDA has never been very willing to protect the public from unsafe products.
In Europe, 1,100 different ingredients have either been banned or regulated because they've been found to be harmful or toxic. But in the US, it's only 11. So,
just like big tobacco, the cosmetics industry set up a scientific review board. And you'll never guess who's on it.
The Cosmetic Ingredient Review evaluates the safety of ingredients in cosmetics, and they were established by the cosmetics industry, and it's currently funded by the cosmetics industry itself. And yet this is the organization that the FDA goes to when there's a new issue of concern. The recent example being the use of formaldehyde in high concentrations in products like Brazilian Blowout.
The hair care option contains a possible carcinogen. And come clean at the very beginning
This
here.
is very worrisome given that I have tried it myself. But you know what? It's amazing. It really does work, I have to say.
Even though it was pulled from the market in most places in the world because of regulatory restrictions, the FDA still did nothing, and the product is still available on the market. This is a sunscreen product. 2 ingredients in the product were flagged for higher hazard concerns, and that was fragrance and vitamin A.
The 2 ingredients that you flagged sound like 2 of the most harmless ones.
Fragrance and a vitamin. Exactly.
If you look at your labels, often it just says fragrance, and there's a lot of chemicals that could be hidden in there. You may have used something that caused a little rash or itching, but you probably didn't think that there could be carcinogens, cancer-causing chemicals.
I mean, feel my hair, Robin. Doesn't it feel nice?
That's really nice.
And I mean,
We've been on a test diet with our planet and our bodies for 60 years with dumping all manner of toxins out there, and the results are coming in, and we see this in rates of disease and environmental contamination.
I'm taking a video.
We're gonna like this.
What? Yeah.
Back at home, my sister had just begun chemotherapy, and I was there for a moment that I knew very well.
Look at that! Good job!
It's not genetics. We've all been tested. We don't have the breast cancer gene. I have a big family, and that increases the odds. But if the odds are 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women, we're kind of right on target. It just happened younger.
Thanks, buddy. I would like just like Daddy's on the bottom. Nobody cuts their hair with this again, okay? This is a one-time special event.
When I was done with my intensive chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, I ended up in the hospital for a week. My body was completely shot, and Lizzie was the opposite. She was participating in getting herself healthy from the get-go. She wasn't waiting until after treatment.
Look like your sister.
I do.
You guys look the same.
We've heard that a lot.
The nature of cancer treatment, it's a lot of things happening to you.
You look well.
Thank you. I mean, I really, honestly, I don't feel sick.
The power of this for people who have a diagnosis already is that there are things that you can do to fuel yourself, to make your body better able to withstand all of the things that you're going to have to go through to get cancer out of your system. You can actually be a partner in that process. You don't just, have to endure it. And you can have hope.
After this last baby, prior to being diagnosed, I was boxing twice a week for like a half hour. And I mean, I loved it. It was like a workout and therapy all at once.
The benefit of reducing side effects and improving outcome with chemo is somewhere close to 40%.
Oh, wow.
Basically,
trying to seek out an acupuncturist or nutritionist or an exercise therapist, it all costs money, and you have to know to look for it. So if it isn't just a part of what you're dealing with when you go to a doctor, many people either can't afford it or don't even know it exists.
But when you find it and embrace it, the changes that follow are profound.
Hi, welcome. How are you? I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
2 weeks ago, I went to the doctor. Didn't expect this good news. I no longer take the high blood pressure medicine, Novomed.
Nice.
That is an awesome, awesome blessing. I never thought I'd get off high blood pressure.
How long were you on it?
Over 3 years.
Wow.
Over 3 years. Took it religiously every day. I tend sometimes to get upset quickly, and it was one of the things my coach told me to rest, stop stressing, because all of these things feeds into the disease. Yeah. So I stopped all that. It is what it is.
That is fantastic.
And my husband, Albert, lost 60 2 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
He was almost 300.
I don't know, I love being like my mama, so I started getting on the weight loss journey with her. I come from 250 to 194, so I'm doing good.
You're doing really
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Water, it was a no-no in my house. We didn't drink water. We bathed. We washed our face, our clothes, the dishes, you know, boil something in it. Water, now all of my children drink water. You do know in order to eat healthy, it costs more. But guess what? You save on doctor bills and clothes. All right. And supper is ready.
All right.
I want you to sit right here. Let's entertain our guests.
Do you want one or two?
Just some of those yummy veggies with that looks amazing.
Ah bah, la naissance de Charlie, c'était un moment de grande émotion. Donc ça, c'était un grand moment dans ma vie, dans la sienne, je crois aussi. Puis après, puis en août, on est parti à l'île de Ré. Je me souviens très bien de dire tous les jours, d'avoir dit quasiment tous les jours. J'ai l'impression que c'est les meilleurs moments de notre vie qu'on vit. Enfin, c'est des instants. J'avais honte de regarder les gens dans les yeux, tellement je me sentais heureuse.
Dans cet endroit paradisiaque, nous retrouverons, seuls, à réfléchir, David Servan-Schreiber sur comment sauver des vies.
Il est parti tout le mois de juillet aux États-Unis. Alors, il s'en est mordu les doigts, tu vois, de ne pas être là.
There's so much to do, you know, and I'm just one person. And I have cancer cells, you know, and I know how important it is to my sanity and my health, and as well as the health of my family, that we stay connected. It's not so reasonable for me to be on the road as much as I am.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
We have shown you what you can do to help you strengthen your body's defenses against cancer. But cancer is not only about broccoli and jogging. For a lot of people who've been diagnosed with cancer, there's a major question that arises, which is, did I bring this onto myself? Did I do something, somehow, that helped this disease creep into my life? Most oncologists derive the belief that stress is not related to whether we develop cancer or not. I actually have a slightly different tack on that question. Stressors make us feel discouraged, make us feel helpless, powerless. That impairs the ability of our natural defenses from fighting back cancer.
Stress is a part of all of our lives. We accept it. But how we deal with it, if we deal with it at all, affects everything and can have a profound effect on our ability to fight cancer. Unlike diet, exercise, or toxins, you can't see it. Stress is by far the most intangible pillar of the anti-cancer method. But we are only now beginning to fully grasp the consequences. Stress can push your body to a breaking point, silently, without you even aware that it's happening.
Stress is very useful. If you run away from a rhinoceros which is chasing you, you have maximum stress is good. But if you spend your life thinking that the rhinoceros chasing you, then you are in trouble. It's going to eat your neurons, it's going to eat your immune system. It's bad for everything. Before it was thought the brain can't change anymore. Nothing could be more wrong than that. That has been shown that until we die, you know, you're 80 years old, you're still making plenty of neurons, new neurons. You're making new connections.
We know that chronic stress can have an impact on so many other diseases. To me, the better question is, why would cancer be an exception? Now we're learning that stress hormones that are released can directly promote cancer growth and spread. In an acute stress setting, fight or flight hormones will spike up and then they will pretty quickly resolve. In a chronic stress setting, we tend to see elevations of these pathways that stay activated. So that would again create an environment that would promote tumor growth. All of the data that we have would tend to suggest that there is indeed not just a mind to body connection, but there perhaps is a mind to cancer connection as well.
One of the mysteries of our times is how much we underestimate the potential for change. If it turns out, as also the studies show that people who have tried know, that 20 minutes a day, say, of mindfulness or loving-kindness meditation will change the quality of the 23 hours and 40 minutes left, including your sleep. That seems pretty good investment.
Every major faith tradition will tell you that the body and the spirit are one, and that you must care for both at the same time. You know, I'm not a believer in one way. One way, there are many ways, but there are no ways that work without connecting to the spiritual dimensions of life. Now, those are not the words you normally hear in the doctor's office.
David is a true systems thinker, and this is what this disease requires. And it's not just exercise. It's not just nutrition. It's not just chemicals. It's not just well-being and emotional well-being. It's all of those. And like a classic system, if you take one piece out, it's probably not going to work.
I saw David's first symptoms just before his last trip to the US. It was clear he was not doing well, even though we did not know what it was about. But it was clear that it required investigation, possibly even urgent investigation.
So, we're coming back and, yeah, applause, you're acknowledging the whole crowd. Hey! Okay, and go. Go ahead.
Welcome back to Anti-Cancer. In this last segment, shit, I can't say this.
You can. It's rehearsal, no problem.
This doesn't make sense. Go back.
We told him, do you really have to go? Can't you cancel?
All right, let's say we're done. And
His response was, this is what I'm here for.
If you could give us a little bit more energy, do you think?
I'm so tired. We added the last slide. We just added the last slide called Finding Meaning.
Finding meaning is the last slide on stage. And we'll stop. You know, we're going to do anything you need to get you through this if there's anything you need. So don't.
What is it in human beings that helps us keep our healthy sense of ourselves, helps us keep a sense of meaning in our life in the face of stressors? If you had to guess and think about that, you know, the number one thing that human beings need is actually connectedness, connection with other human beings. Many cancer patients live with a sense of powerlessness and hopelessness, but have been hanging on to this idea that until the very end, it remains always in our power to save our lives and bring it to a meaningful conclusion. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll always wonder if David knew that the taping in Detroit was his last stand. That we were living in the moment when the doctor would become the patient once again.
About a week or two after, I had a follow-up examination, which showed that the cancer had come back. I've been dealing with this relapse since then. Take sufficient care of myself. I kept going. But it's very important to hang
on. Well, that's the nature of the man. The nature of the man is to really take it to the edge.
Voilà, la rechute, on était tous à la table. On avait demandé à ses frères de nous rejoindre. Je pleurais comme une fontaine. Enfin, lui, pas du tout. Il était stoïque et disait « J'ai fait ce que je devais faire ».
Après cette discussion légère, est-ce que vous avez d'autres questions?
Épitaphe, si tu peux.
Il a commencé de grandes choses qu'il n'a pas terminées.
Isn't that great?
David devoted his life to revealing the hope and the power that we all have in the fight against cancer. And I'm grateful to him for passing the torch to so many. Even the medical establishment is poised for change.
I believe this is a true game changer. We've been able to date to raise $6 million to fund this landmark study, which really fulfills David's vision. And the people who make decisions about where healthcare dollars actually get spent will realize that lifestyle change needs to be part of the standard of care in our nation and across the world.
Thankfully, the world is picking up where David left off, and change is happening.
The pharmacy chain CVS, it will no longer sell cigarettes and tobacco products in
Subway
stores.
is changing its bread recipe, removing a chemical also used to make yoga mats.
McDonald's pointed out the FDA considers it safe.
Imagine a world where 70% of cancer deaths never occur.
Listen up, soda fans.
Bill de Blasio will take up Michael Bloomberg's fight to ban big gulp sugary drinks in New York City.
Kraft macaroni and cheese won't contain artificial preservatives or the dyes that currently make it orange.
In that world, the disease that haunts us
What's the worst that could happen?
doesn't look so scary.
I'm a tumor.
And fighting it is a lot easier than we ever thought possible.
This is about being, not doing.
Congressman Tim Ryan talking about mindfulness.
And so you're in a room full of people here, so it's got to be like really weird.
Some public schools in his home state of Ohio have started meditation classes.
Human nature is not only predictable, but changeable. We now have the right tools to change our lives and increase our chance to live a life free of disease.
This health and wellness trend is not a fad. It's here to stay.
You know, I just can't stand the kale bragging. I just had some kale. No one asked you.
By arming ourselves with simple truths and knowing the obstacles for what and who they are, they lose their power over us, and we can take back our own lives.
You as a parent should be able to walk into a grocery store, pick an item off the shelf, and tell whether it's good for your family.
I will never go back. Never. Because sooner or later, And much sooner than you think, it's going to catch up with you.
Come on, people. It's time to stop being afraid of cancer. It's time for cancer to be afraid of us.
Time moves on, people heal, kids grow up, and the C word becomes not about disease or dying, but about living. And not in fear, not in the past, but in the here and now.
So, guys, that was the movie. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot. The only thing that I think that they should have included in this movie is the power of fasting, which that really plays another part in it. If we can add a fifth thing to the four things that they listed that could change it, they definitely should add the fasting. But this movie was made years ago, and between the time that it was made up until now, the the things that we found out about fasting wasn't the things that we know now. So in addition to what we've learned today, make sure you add fasting to those things. Netta said, I was a hospice nurse for 7 years and a radiation oncology nurse a little more over a year, and I shed many tears in the past here than I did as a hospice nurse. Hospice, I know the end results, right? Chemo and radiation treatment, the diagnosis is definitely, it is unknown. Okay, and Rachel said, responding to her, yeah, I say she's never do that. She said, yes, we can, yes, and we still got a lot to learn. We definitely got a lot to learn. Thank you so much, God Made It So, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. She says, my mom died of lung cancer that metastasized to her bones. She was a chronic smoker. And one thing I want to say while we're talking about that before I end it is, and I want to stress to you guys, and I ask that you guys also do your own research on this. Don't take my word for it. But when you or someone you know has a diagnosis of these cancers and they decide to do a biopsy on it, do your research on that. Because what I've found and I believe to be true is that's harmful doing that. If you're going to do something about the cancer, I would recommend that you have them remove it from your body and then do whatever tests they're going to do on it. If it's a lesion or a lump or something in your body that they don't know what it is, they want to test it and see what it is, don't let them poke it. Grab a sample and then test it. Because here's what they're finding and what they are, they've probably been known, but this is what they're finding. That poking it or taking a piece of it is breaking the seal of that sac that is in, or whatever, that cell, and causing it, whatever contents that is in there, to release to the body. Okay? So, if you are having someone that you know or you yourself, they have something that they found, something irregular, and it's in your body, have them remove that and then do testing on it instead of having them have it, keep it in your body, take a piece of it and do testing. Just have them remove the whole thing, okay? Because what they're finding is that sac or that mass that you have that is inside of your body, that is what your body's defense mechanism to eradicate whatever's going on. And so bursting that sac or opening up that sac or cutting it open is just releasing those things that your body has already contained, releasing it all over your body, okay? Do your research. Do your research. She says fasting triggers your body to heal and balance itself. It definitely does. It definitely is an essential part of it. She says, my mother died of lung cancer that metastasized. My condolences to you, PIA. Sorry for your loss. And anyone else who has suffered from anyone died from these things. Not just cancer, these things that we've learned ring true and they help all diseases. So, guys, I hope that these things that we're doing is helping you guys to become smarter. The more we know, the better we can be. PI says, thank you for keeping us enlightened. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I think that's all I had. Just wanted to encourage you guys, open your eyes up a little bit more than what they already are. Pay attention. Believe none of what you hear and some of what you see. Do your own research. I will see you guys in these social media streets. Peace, love, and blessings, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.